Right. What's going on, guys? Week 3, NYAC, not your average casual. We are missing our boy Sean today, but obviously we got Dawson, we got me, Mr. DK.
Gotta be consistent with the content.
Gotta come out weekly. We're gonna go right off the bat and go to the draft. I just want to talk about this draft right now. All right. Caleb Williams, first pick. We all knew that was coming. That was very obvious.
You see people putting $10,000 bets down to win $50.
Yeah.
They're like, it's a free $50. Like, no, I'm good on all that, bro.
I know. That was the same when like Wembanyama came out, and I looked to see how much it was, and I think it was minus like 100K. And I was just like, yeah, he's going number 1.
As a Vikings fan, man, I got a little bit of hope when Jaden Daniels went number 2 that the Patriots would either trade or take take JJ. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy with JJ. I think we murdered this draft, but I really thought Drake should have gone number 2.
I do too. I was really surprised. I don't feel like he fits the Commanders' offense that well. Jaden Daniels.
It reminds me too much of Justin Fields, where I'm like, he's going to be running for his life. He has more weapons in the receiver room than Justin Fields ever had in Chicago, in my opinion, because Jahan Dotson's nice too.
Yeah. And who's their running back right now?
Eckler.
They
signed Eckler.
Oh, that's right.
And Brian Robinson. But that line had Sam Howell running for his life, and they're in a mean division with the Eagles and the Cowboys defenses in there.
Yeah.
I think they probably needed Jaden Daniels because his mobility is going to be an asset, but I don't want to see him turn into Justin Fields all over again, where they blame him because he's trying to make plays when they can't protect him.
No, I agree. It's just, they definitely needed something for the offensive line, but that was just kind of who they had. Marvin Harrison Jr., I thought was a great pickup for the Cardinals.
I think it was perfect because it was win-win. They trade out and get a fortune and get Malik Neighbors if they trade back a little bit, or they get Marvin Harrison Jr., who is generational. It was a win-win for the Cardinals.
Yeah. I was really surprised Brendan Rice took
he fell deep. He went to Dallas. Dallas, LA. The Chargers, right?
He went to the Chargers.
Which I like that fit
I do too. With Herbert, that's going to be super
because for as late as he was taken, he's got a shot at playing time for sure. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams gone now.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to be like the 3 or the 4, so he'll definitely be in there with the offense.
Of course, they took Joe Alt, which I think I liked more than most people.
I love that pick, dude.
I low-key wanted them to see them trade back and take Brock Bowers because I think he has like a receiver tight end hybrid type of skill set. But I don't hate Joe Alt at all because him and Rashawn Slater, they're trying to keep Justin Herbert upright.
Yeah, they are. And he's like still got that finger issue that he's kind of dealing with and stuff like that. And I mean, you look at him, it's like his profile is like, I'm from where is he from?
He's from Oregon. He's not Bend. I don't think he's from Bend. He's right outside Eugene though. He
grew
up
like 6'8", like barn kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like just straight farmer.
3-star Oregon raised kid. Yeah. Big hoss.
Big hoss. Malik Neighbors, I feel bad for him.
Did you see the clip where he was live on social media and Caleb Williams was talking about, I'm going to go to this team, and all of a sudden he said, who's the Chargers who's the Giants quarterback? And Malik Neighbors, and the smile dropped from his face, the live ended. He ended the live. I was like, oh no, dude.
Oh man.
It screams OBJ already. I think he's going to be so electric. He's going to be so electric. I don't think he wants to be there.
No, he does not want to be there. But then he's going to be that diva that just goes to different teams and he's like, I don't want to be a quarterback. I don't want to be a quarterback. So like, that's my biggest thing about that.
I love Malik Neighbors as a prospect, and I do think it's probably an OBJ situation. I'm not ready to say he's a diva yet because like I think at least like if he's envious of the situations he could have gone to, because you look at the top receiver landing spots in the draft, the Patriots were never going to take Malik Neighbors unless maybe they traded back, but it's not the most attractive spot, but he would have been the number 1. They have a solid offensive line, a good defense. If he went to the Chargers, they have Justin Herbert, and they have, he could have been the number 1.
Yeah.
He goes to the Titans, and the Titans have weapons already, and Will Levis looked solid. He goes to the Falcons, and they have Kirk Cousins. Like, he went to the worst of the receiver-needy spots at the top of the draft. He went to a Giants team with no established running back, Daniel Jones at quarterback, no established receivers, Darren Waller's out. He's just got Brian Daboll. So I get it. I'd be a little frustrated if I was going to kind of the worst
team.
possible scenario.
Yeah.
He'll make the best of it, though.
Yeah, I would agree. Don't know much about Latham, but I figure that's a good pick for the Titans.
It was a panic pick, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think Latham, he's really good. I think that they were so sure the Chargers were going to go receiver and Joe Alt was going to fall to them. I think they panicked and did take the second best tackle in the class.
Sure. Alabama always produces good tackles.
I probably would have preferred Olu Fashanu for the Titans scheme-wise.
Okay.
Because Latham's kind of a mauler and Derrick Henry's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But I like the pick still. I just think 7 for Latham was early. They probably could have traded back to like 11, 12, maybe with the Broncos.
Still got like a 4th round pick or something
and
like
got
that.
something back. But I don't hate it. It's a good pick.
Michael Penix Jr.
The way my jaw dropped.
I know.
We were at the sports bar.
Dude, and I'm just like, what? Michael Penix? I was blown
I had taken
away.
Shelby out to dinner, my girlfriend Shelby, for, I guess we haven't talked about that. Holy cliff note, DK has a girlfriend. Shocking, right? But we were at the sports bar and my jaw dropped. When Michael Penix got announced, I immediately messaged our boy Colin and was like, hey man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He didn't want Kirk, and he finally settled into them getting Kirk.
And then you get
And then they get Michael Penix.
Yeah.
I'm not low on Michael Penix. They just needed so many things to help them now.
Yeah.
Like they could have took Roma Dunze. They could have took a tackle. They could have traded back. They could have took anyone on the defensive side of the ball.
Right. There's still a lot of like edge rushers like Latu that were available that they just didn't take. And that was, yeah.
I think the other thing about it that I understand frustration from the Falcons fan base is when it comes to Penix and Bo Nix, with McCarthy on the board, I think they realistically could have traded back if they wanted Penix that bad and still got him. They could have called up Minnesota and said, hey, we're going to take McCarthy right here unless you come up and get him. And they could have traded back to 10 and still got Michael Penix because no one seemed to be chasing them except for him.
Yeah. And I will say I have settled into it a little bit more as a Washington fan. I like it because he is 23. He's a little old for a quarterback for sure going into the NFL. But, I mean, if he goes at like 25 or 26 and that's when he becomes a true starter, he has a lot under his belt. He's a very seasoned veteran with Kirk Cousins teaching him and handing him down. So in 4 to 5 years, this is a great pick hypothetically, but if you want to actually be a good team, and their division is not great. They can win their division if they need to. And so drafting someone else to give them the win over their division would have just been so much smarter in the long run.
Well, in the Kirk contract, if you really look at the breakdown of it, it's front-loaded. It's a lot of money, but it's front-loaded in the sense that, there's an out. After the first 2 years, there's a realistic out where if they haven't been successful in a year and a half, 2 years, they can say, okay, it's Michael Penix time. And it's not going to look, it's not a Daniel Jones situation where they have all this guaranteed money and a guy they don't seem to want. Kirk Cousins doesn't have to be your starter for 4 years.
Right.
That doesn't have to happen financially in the contract.
Yeah, and also someone was talking about how Kirk might not even be ready regular season time.
Yeah, and you have arguably the best backup immediately in the NFL, Michael Penix.
Right, get him a little juice in there, get him a little under his belt. It'll be good. Roma Dunze, great pick. Fantastic pick. I was super happy with it. I thought he was a great receiver. He had Penix throwing to him, and there was some balls that I feel like Odunze didn't really make the good catch. It was just a great throw. Yeah. There was a lot just right over top of the defender.
I like Odunze a lot. I'm a Vikings fan, so maybe I don't know the Bears team as well as the Bears know the Bears team, but I just think that they needed edge a little bit more than receiver. I think receiver was the flashy pick, and they wanted to get Caleb a dude, because Caleb Williams loves Roma Dunze. Yeah. Just glowing reviews. And Keenan Allen's aging, so I don't hate Roma Dunze. I give it a B plus A minus because I think it would have been a home run to get a Leatu Latu or a Dallas Turner or even a trade back and getting Brock Bowers. So it's I don't have any problem with the pick. I think I probably would have went a different direction and addressed the defensive side or traded back, but I don't hate the pick at all.
No, it definitely was a hype pick for Caleb Williams. It was
I think it was showing them. It was them showing Caleb Williams they weren't going to do kind of like what we've seen the Packers do with Rodgers, where they kept kind of picking what they wanted instead of what he wanted. I think this was the opposite, where they said hey man, you're our guy. Yeah, if you want this guy, we're going to go get him for you.
Yeah, we are invested in you, which I like. I do like that. Obviously, the Bears have had horrible history. Yeah, a horrible history with quarterbacks, but.
10. There was
McCarthy.
no world I thought JJ was going to be there at 10. I I'm biased. I'm biased. I'm a Vikings fan. I really thought we were going to have to go up top 5 to get him.
Really?
The quarterback, the way this shook out was so interesting to me because the first 3 picks weren't shocking, but they weren't how I really expect. I kind of thought someone was maybe going to go up and get Drake May. But Penix shocked me. McCarthy also shocked me because as soon as I thought, if anything, the Broncos or Raiders was going to go up and get him. And when the Broncos came out after the draft, I'm already not a Sean Payton guy. I don't know if you saw the interview where he acted like, we manipulated the Vikings into trading up. We were going to take Bo Nix the whole time.
I saw that.
I'm an Oregon fan. No, you weren't. No, you weren't, because everything Bo Nix does well, JJ does.
Yeah.
Other than experience, JJ's younger. He's an athlete that's got good short accuracy, sometimes questionable deep accuracy, plus arm strength. They're very similar, except for the fact that JJ's younger and a little more erratic with the accuracy. I just don't believe you when you tell me that you manipulated the Vikings into going
up and get him. Yeah.
Because I think if they were both there, the Broncos would have took JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pivot pick that they were like, Bo's similar and he's more experienced. We'll take Bo.
Yeah.
It's not like, this huge drop off, but I think Sean Payton's trying to make it sound like he's playing chess when everyone's playing checkers.
Right, and it's just
I love McCarthy at 10 because my only problem with the Vikings taking McCarthy in all these mocks is we had to trade up to get him.
Right.
Because we traded up one spot and really didn't give up anything, I love the pick. I think we're the most quarterback-friendly landing spot in this draft other than maybe Chicago.
Yeah,
I guess Atlanta I didn't view as a quarterback spot. Bijan Robinson's the best running back on any of the quarterback needy teams, and they do have Drake London and Kyle Pitts. But I think the Vikings, Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones, Hawkinson, you're not going to get a better supporting cast unless maybe you're in Chicago, and we have to see them prove it.
Yeah, and it gives JJ McCarthy the ability to be a little erratic with his accuracy. Like
the catch radius on Jefferson and Aaron Jones is a great receiving back. Hawkinson was a monster last year.
A lot of screen plays that they're going to be able to run with
I think that I saw that he's plus 950 to win Rookie of the Year. Obviously, I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm a little bit of a homer anyways. I'll throw $20 on JJ McCarthy, if nothing else, because he's going into the closest to Michigan you'll get as a rookie.
Yeah.
In the sense that we have an established running back, we have 2 good tackles, we have weapons. He doesn't have to go out and be Superman. He doesn't have to go be Superman. He could come be Michigan JJ McCarthy and win games.
Right, and just hit his checkdowns and all that good stuff.
And win Rookie of the Year just with not flashy but good numbers. So I'd take those odds on JJ for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. The Bo Nix pick was really interesting. I didn't really understand it from the Broncos' perspective, if I'm being honest.
I don't understand you going and getting Zach Wilson before this.
Yeah, and then also going and getting Bo Nix, maybe the competition. I think Bo Nix is going to beat out Zach Wilson.
I think Bo Nix is better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, for sure.
Now.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is they're the same age.
Yeah,
they're the same age.
Which is wild.
I get that. Bo's been in college for a while, but Bo, his skill set, they're built similarly, but I don't like when people compare them just because they're both athletic guys with solid arm talent.
Who are white.
Because Zach Wilson played at BYU where he played a lot of hero ball. As a Ducks fan, Bo Nix didn't play hero ball. He was a field general. He was not running around doing the Patrick Mahomes thing like Zach Wilson was doing at BYU. He came in and he's the smart, safe quarterback, and Zach Wilson's kind of the opposite. He's a freaky athlete with a good arm that maybe needs some polish. I think Bo is polished. I think Zach needs the polish.
Yeah, I agree. I almost feel bad for Bo Nix. I feel like he's going to get sacked the most out of any rookie quarterback this year because he's smart and he's not going to throw the ball away and throw picks, but he's going to have to take sacks.
I have no doubt he's the best quarterback on that roster. It would not shock me to see Jarrett Stidham trot out week 1. It wouldn't shock me for Sean Payton to say, all right, Jarrett Stidham's proven that he's an above average, backup to low-end starter. He can come in and give Bo some time.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
I don't hate it. I also don't hate Bo starting right away because I think he's probably the most pro-ready other than Caleb Williams right now. I think he's more pro-ready than JJ or Drake or Jaden or maybe even Penix in the sense that he takes his checkdowns, he's seasoned.
Well, that Oregon offense was just an NFL offense.
Everyone dissects the fact that it was gimmicky. That's Sean McVay. That's Kyle Shanahan. That's what these guys do now.
Yeah. Brock Bowers to the Raiders.
The ultimate BPA pick was shocking.
I was shocked. Did you see the picture of his dad being like, "Oh shit, my son should not go to Vegas."
I really did like Michael Mayer last year, and I get that. Brock could play the slot. You could play like a big slot with him and Mayer.
Like a Kelsey situation.
I don't know. This, again, is another one where I don't want to say they panicked, but also I think they expected Penix or Bo to be there. And when they weren't, I think that they just said, let's just take the top guy on our board. Like, the guy with the highest grade on our board is Brock Bowers, even if we don't need him. So let's just take the best guy.
And honestly, like, in a year or two, he could get traded, and that would just be like a big trade stock. Like, same thing with Darren Waller when he was there. Yeah. He was just a big trade stock. They didn't use him.
Well, and he's a safe target for Aiden O'Connell. I'm not a huge Aiden O'Connell guy, but I think Brock Bowers helps Aiden O'Connell a lot if he's their day one starter, which I assume he would be.
Yeah. The Saints picking a tackle, smart choice.
Fuaga.
I don't know much about Fuaga. I guess
he's a big dude. He's got a mean streak to him.
He made their quarterback look good last year at certain times.
He made DJ look good. Yeah. I love DJ. I think DJ's like that. We're gonna see him this year.
I've seen him play, and he reminds me a lot of like some quarterbacks in the NFL that are like half backup, half. Like, he hits checkdowns, he just kind of sits in and, like, just does what he needs to do.
I think he's that guy that comes in and once every 3 or 4 games, he makes some magical plays where you're like, is this the dude? That's what made him the 5-star he was, coming out #1 quarterback in the class. And sometimes he looks like that guy, and sometimes you're like, he looks like a Zach Wilson, where you're like, he's never going to put it together.
Yeah.
But sometimes he does put it together, and it's insane.
Yeah.
I like Fuaga, though. He fits what they need a lot.
For sure.
The Saints have a lot of holes is the problem. They're another team that I think almost in the same vein as the Raiders. I think they were like, hey guys, if a quarterback's here, we take him. If not, just take whoever has the highest grade.
Yeah.
I think they took the guy highest graded on their board at a position of need, which would be Fuaga.
And they did get Rattler later, too.
They did, and I think that's such a good value pick.
Yeah, I'm high on
He's
Rattler.
grown up so much. I can't believe people still bring up that tape of him on the QB1 Beyond the Lights. Yeah. He did look like a little asshole. He really did. But that was, 5 years ago at this point? Let a kid grow up. Like, let him grow up. Like, he checked all the boxes in all the interviews, and to have him knocked over something in high school is just crazy to me.
Yeah, and South Carolina produces pretty, like, sound people. Like, I don't normally hear kids coming out of South Carolina being, like, divas or, like, problems in the NFL.
J.C. Horn came out of there, and he was confident. He kind of the same vein, he was confident, but he wasn't, like, it's not like he was talking crazy about everyone all the time. I mean...
Yeah.
And he played behind such a bad line there that I think... He's used to being in the fire, so the change of speed to the Saints, where the line is now going to be a little better, I think he's going to adjust well. I wouldn't be shocked to see him start games if Derek Carr doesn't come out and play like... If he comes out and plays like Derek Carr, I think Rattler sees time.
Yeah.
He sees
too. Definitely, especially if they're down 35-0, in the second half. Latu, I don't know what the Colts need, to be honest. Latu is great, but
this is such a gamble.
The Colts are just... not put together at all.
It's such a gamble because between he and Dallas Turner on my board, Dallas Turner was my #1 edge rusher, and I know some people that I've talked to about it have said, "Oh, you're saying that because the Vikings took him." And Dallas Turner. I mocked him at 8 to the Falcons. When the Falcons didn't take Dallas Turner, I was shocked.
Yeah.
So when the Colts took Leatu Latu, who I think has a higher ceiling than Dallas Turner, but a way lower floor. When they took him, I was like, I guess if you're going to take a guy 15th overall, you take who he could be, not who he is. Because right now, Dallas Turner is the better player.
Yeah.
Who Leatu Latu could be is a top 5 edge rusher in the league. He could be one of the best pass rushers in the league very soon.
If he finds that switch, he can definitely be there.
He's just got to stay on the field, man. Same as Jalen Phillips. It's such a similar situation. He medically retired, and then he with the transfer and everything. But who he could be the steal of the draft. I think who Dallas Turner is at 17 is the steal of the draft right now.
He gave the Huskies hell until he got injured, I think, in the third quarter. But Penix was actually running around, during that time.
He's a menace. Crazy. He's so quick.
Yeah, he is super quick, especially off the snap. Byron Murphy, too, for the Hawks, was the greatest pick the Hawks have made in the last 4 years.
Such a good
such a great pick. I was concerned they were going to go with another receiver like they did with Jackson Smith and Jigba last year.
I did like that.
I mean, I like it.
I thought they were going to go
defense. Yeah, their defense is just, it's so weak in the middle. And Bobby Wagner is so old that it's just last year, even with him back, it didn't really make a difference. Our running
PFF merchant Bobby Wagner.
But Our middle, like, our running defense was horrible. Our pass defense was great with Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen. Jamal Adams when he's on the field.
Quandre Diggs.
Quandre Diggs is a stud. He's been better than Jamal Adams, which is crazy. Jamal Adams was
far more consistent.
Yeah, horrible.
I really thought they were going to go Troy Fautano. I liked the Washington connection. He was right there in state. He was a mauler in the run game. But they have Charles Cross, and if you like Abe Lucas, then I could see not swinging on an athletic tackle when there's a player like Byron Murphy on the board to be the Jordan Davis type of player in the middle of your defense. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he reminds me a lot of like Vince Wilfork. Like,
those Pats.
Yeah, he just takes people. You know
Even
what I
if
mean?
he's not going to get the flashy stats, he requires so much attention in the center of your defensive line.
Yeah, it's just like it takes away from the linebackers that are able to shoot up. I was hoping the Hawks were going to take Penix. Obviously, when he went to the Falcons, I was like, there's no way. But that would have been perfect because of the Washington connection. And on top of that, like Penix is 23, Geno Smith is on
in his 30s, 32.
Yeah, and he's like on his second year of his 3-year contract. So he's obviously going to like go away in 2 years. I was really hoping Penix was going to fall to them, but when the Falcons got him, I was like, all right, well, that makes sense, I guess. Everything after this is just like, it's kind of nothing, I feel like. Like, it was just like tackles and edge rushers.
Oh, I love some of these picks so much, though. Amarius Mims is the scariest pick other than Michael Penix in the entire first round. And the reason is because Amarius Mims, when he was on the field, was the best tackle in college football, other than Joe Alt. He is the best pure tackle in college football. However, dude cannot stay on the field.
It just hurt.
Even in the Alabama game, I know Nick Saban commented after the pick and was like, in the SEC championship game when he was on the field, he was great. He just left. And it was like, I don't know if he meant for it to come off this way, but it almost sounded like he was questioning how much Amarius Mims wanted to be on the field.
Gotcha.
The way it felt when he was talking about it is like he thought Amarius Mims backed down from it. But when Mims is on the field, he was arguably the best tackle in college football. The Bengals, I don't hate them swinging tackle, but they have two tackles in very similar molds to Mims. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's a freaky athlete. Same like 6'7", 300-something pound build at tackle. They have two of those though, so it's a little weird to see
him moving to guard.
I think with his reach, you drafted him to be a tackle. Okay. He could be a guard. He could kick inside, but I think maybe they're preparing for life after Orlando Brown if they let him walk.
Gotcha.
But I think they had other needs. They could use a little edge. They could have used some corner help. They could have used another threat in that offense with Tyler Boyd gone and T. Higgins wanting out.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't hate it, though. It's not like they took someone and it's a head scratcher and I don't know what they were thinking.
Did the Bengals get any receivers in like the 2nd through 7th? Did they get?
I want to say they did take a receiver in day 2. Let me take a peek.
Yeah.
2 defensive tackles and an edge rusher, so they did try to get after the quarterback a little more.
Does the Jamar Chase injury concern you with the Bengals? Do you think it could be a lingering thing, or do you think he's going to come back?
No, I think he'll be okay.
He'll be okay.
The Rams, Jared Verse. This was one of the coolest storylines in the draft because I don't know if you saw, there was another edge out of Florida State named Braden Fisk. It's either Fisk or Fiske. I believe it's Fisk.
Okay.
But they took Jared Verse in the first round. And then later in the draft, they took his college teammate, Braden Fisk, and had Verse on the phone with them, talking to him. And that was so cool. The two of them where it was tearing up. There clearly is like a brotherhood thing. It's going to be really cool to see them off the edge together.
That is cool, yeah. I do love seeing like college teammates teaming up. It seems to create that.
Bo Nix and Troy Franklin with the Broncos.
That was huge.
I thought not Bo Nix, but Troy Franklin was one of the best value picks in the entire draft. Yeah. I can't believe he fell that low.
Can we talk about how it's unfair that the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy?
And the Bills are the ones who handed him over.
Like, dude, Xavier Worthy is so fast. His hands are a little iffy. They're Marcus Valdes-Scantling hands.
Oh, Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
Yeah.
But I think who better than Mahomes? Like, he's not Kadarius Toney bad.
No, he's not. No, not at all. And Mahomes is going to be able to hit him in stride, and it fills the hole of what Tyreek left, which wasn't really as much as we thought it was going to be. But
and it's a track team. People forget this pick looks really good, but people are kind of forgetting that they have Marquise Brown now too. They have Hollywood. This is Hollywood and Worthy with Kelsey, who just signed an extension in the middle. Like, that team, I think
And
if you put
Pacheco in
money
the
on
backfield.
anyone other than the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, you got to be smoking something. I want some of that.
Yeah.
Because I wish I could tell you there was a team that stacks up well with them. That's a track team.
Yeah.
Pacheco's a burner. Travis
Pacheco is
Kelce's
a
a
stud.
monster. They have two of the fastest receivers in football. And then if Kadarius Toney could be even a shadow of Giants Kadarius Toney, that is the fastest offense maybe in NFL history.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because the Dolphins, I mean, Tyreek and Waddle are insane, but
there's no third.
yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
they
Like,
have Toney if he can figure it out, and they have Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy. That's insane.
Now, Marquise Brown is super underrated in my opinion.
I'm gonna come out, put 4 verticals like it's NCAA 14, and just start heaving. Like,
We're gonna talk about NCAA 25s at the very
I
end.
can't wait to get.
I cannot wait to get that.
I want to make content on it. I want to start a dynasty when it comes out, and I want to make content on it. It's gonna take me back.
All right. Is there any other the first round you want to talk about?
So
Legit?
so it's okay. So like a super like a niche thing to talk about, and it was so funny. I came across it on TikTok. I don't know if you saw when I sent it in our little group chat, but this guy came out with this song about Cooper DeJean, and I love it.
Yeah. You want a whiteboard?
Cooper DeJean is not a safety. He's just a corner, and he'll lock up your number one. DeJean is CB1. I love that. I love that, and I love Cooper DeJean. I'm so mad the Eagles got him in the second because I hate the Eagles, man.
No.
Their value in the draft every single year is so good.
Yeah,
they got Quinyon Mitchell, who's a freak athlete at corner. They got Cooper DeJean, who can play everywhere in the secondary.
He can play outside linebacker if he wants to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They kill the draft every year, and it chips away at my soul, man. Jalen Carter last year, they got Keely Ringo as a steal. Like, every year they just pull something out of nowhere and get some dude way later than he should go.
Yeah. Keon Coleman going to the Bills was a great pick. I was kind of surprised it wasn't.
I wanted it to be Adonai Mitchell
Yeah,
so bad.
yeah.
I think he would have been the steal of the entire draft in Buffalo's offense because he takes the Diggs role and he's bigger than Diggs. I think he would have been so good in Buffalo.
Keon Coleman's kind of like Debo, isn't he? Like, he's just like really big. Like, he can go up and get it, but he like
his
great
play
run after
speed
catch.
on film. People will knock his speed because he didn't test well.
Okay.
But if you look at his film, at his game speed, it's so much different than what he put out there at the combine and his pro day. Keon Coleman he reminds me almost of how Jarvis Landry tested so poorly at the combine. So did Keenan Allen, tested so poorly. But sometimes the film is just more important, and I think the Bills saw that with Keon Coleman. What he put on film tells me enough that without his numbers being fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely watching his highlights. Like when he got drafted, I was impressed. You know, I saw stuff and I was like, okay, he's smart. Like, he puts himself in places to make plays, and that's hard to find a receiver sometimes. McConkey was a weird pick. I definitely thought Mitchell was going to go over McConkey for the Chargers. That was an odd
I
pick.
think for the Chiefs, Lad McConkey made a ton of sense to me, but for the Chargers, I just think, like, what you need is a number one build, even if he doesn't necessarily have number one capabilities right now. I think that's why I was thinking, like, Keon Coleman, AD Mitchell, those are big, imposing receivers that have good athletic upside. Not to say Lad McConkey doesn't, but he's like
McConkey's like Tyler Lockett. Like, he's smart.
Tyler Lockett. He's like a Tyler Lockett, Hunter Renfrow in the sense that I'm like super technically sound. I think he's a better athlete than Renfrow and almost a better athlete than Lockett, arguably, if you watch the film.
Lockett's a crazy freak.
I just felt like they needed a number one, and McConkey I think is a really good two, but I don't think he's a one. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think he has a one build. I think he has a 2 or 3 build.
Yeah, I see him as a slot guy, you know? Like, that's just kind of where he fits in. Did you see the video of Jamal Charles trying to read off the pick?
No.
The draft pick? Oh my gosh, it's so funny. He like can't read, and so he's like...
He can't, though. That's like a real thing that he, like, in school, like, he had a lot of trouble in school.
Like, he's obviously a stud, but it was so funny. I'll show you later.
They set him up to fail.
Yeah, they did. Jalen Polk to the Patriots, I thought was also a good pick.
I just thought it was a reach. I like Polk, but I think look at the receivers on the board. I could not believe Jalen Polk went over
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he went over Troy Franklin, to be honest. I mean, like we've established on the pod, you're a Washington fan, I'm an Oregon fan. But Troy Franklin, he has a slight frame, and he doesn't go up for contested catches as well this year as he did last year. But he's got the height for it. He's got the athleticism for it. After the catch, he's electric. I could not believe that teams looked at Troy Franklin and Jalen Polk side by side and said, I'll gamble more on Polk right now instead of developing Troy Franklin.
Yeah. I still am baffled that Polk and McConkey went over Brendan Rice. For me, like, I thought Brendan Rice was him. Like, I must have watched the wrong film because
I think he's similar to Franklin, where I'm like, are you not? The way that I would attack the draft as an NFL GM, obviously, it's easy to talk as an armchair GM.
Yeah,
but I think this early in the draft, you take guys for who they could be, not for who they are. Brendan Rice is an athletic freak. Troy Franklin is an athletic freak. Not to knock Jalen Polk, but Jalen Polk, what you see is what you get, I feel like.
Yeah.
And what you see is a good receiver.
Consistent.
But you could get, who knows, Brendan Rice and Troy Franklin have #1 traits that you just need to build on.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And it's not like the Patriots are in a win now situation.
No,
like,
so gamble, shoot for Drake May.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. Drake May, if you gave Drake May an A.D. Mitchell, a Troy Franklin, like a Brendan Rice, who knows? Maybe they grow together and become a duo.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it makes more sense to do that. I mean, you look at the NBA draft, most of the time the top like 10, 15 guys are 19 to 20 years old that have played 1 year
and just
college.
have freaky upside.
Yeah, and they're just like, hey, like we're gonna gamble on you.
Yeah, and it's a cross sport thing, but like take your Giannis when you're picking this high. Take your Giannis. Take your guy that might be a freak, and you have to build him up. Take your Victor Wembanyama, where Wemby didn't put up crazy numbers, but he had the potential. Take your Zach LaVine, who came off the bench at UCLA, came to the NBA, and now he's a consistent 20 points,
player.
25 points a night.
Yeah.
In the same vein, but in a different sport, take your guy that had like you see all the traits you love instead of taking a guy that you're like, well, he's plug and play.
Yeah.
Take your plug and play guys at the back end of the second into the third, those guys to stopgap. Shoot when you're in the first 2 rounds, the first round and a half. Shoot high.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're drafting that high for a reason, you know. Kool-Aid McKinstry and Cooper DeJean.
those are steals. Those are first round guys to me. I think late first in McKinstry's case because he showed on film. He was good, not great on film. He kind of got showed up by Terrion Arnold, and he came in with a lot of hype to this season.
He definitely came in with a lot of hype.
I think he's
like
still a back-end first-round guy for me, and I thought Cooper DeJean was the first corner off the board for me, other than maybe Terrion Arnold.
Yeah. Cooper DeJean is just so versatile.
I don't know what you see from Nate Wiggins and Quinyon Mitchell. Like, obviously, those are both freaky athletes.
Right.
What did you see from them that you didn't see from Cooper DeJean? Because DeJean definitely showed more on film than Quinyon Mitchell, because Quinyon Mitchell, as good of an athlete as he is, people talk about production. He played in the MAC and made a living feasting on underdeveloped quarterback talent from what I saw. Guys that would throw the hitch and they can't drive the ball, so he's so fast he breaks on it, takes it away.
Yeah.
That's not Quinyon Mitchell's fault.
No.
But what Cooper DeJean showed more on film for me than Quinyon Mitchell did. I like Kamari Lassiter a lot for the Texans. I think the Texans did such a good job of just saying we're going to draft kind of the opposite of what we just talked about with guys taking people that are pro-ready. I think the Texans just said, hey...
Well, the Texans are ready.
They're saying that what we should do is just shoot on athletes. Kamari Lassiter has so much potential. He's a boomer bust guy, in my opinion, out of Georgia. But I like them saying we've already got Ward, we've already got Stingley. Let's shoot on an athlete. Kamari Lassiter, if he watches Derek Stingley, maybe he becomes who he's capable of, and that's a great pick then.
Yeah, that's a good point. Edgerrin Cooper, I saw a lot about him, and then I watched his film, was not impressed. Not impressed with him at all.
I just thought it was a weird
I even have the
pick.
Texas A&M shirt on today, and I
think it was just a weird pick because the Packers... I don't know what other people felt about the Packers, but as a Vikings fan, obviously, like, I don't like the Packers. but if I'm looking at the holes in the Packers, I think Eric Stokes hasn't been great. He's been solid. Jair has some issues going on there with like where like he's a phenomenal player, but it's getting like diva territory where I'm like the coin toss stuff. I'm like, maybe you take a cornerback here.
Mm-hmm.
They could have used
like a safety.
They could have used another tackle, like because Bakhtiari's gone.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
true.
thought linebacker when you spent a high pick on Quay Walker was a weird pick.
Yeah,
It
and
was just a
trading with
weird
New
pick
Orleans
to me.
too, like giving up a couple picks later in the
I think,
draft too.
like, just to real quick touch on it, Jackson Powers Johnson was the biggest steal in the entire draft, other than maybe Dallas Turner. Jackson Powers Johnson, as a Ducks fan, he played guard for us. He played center for us. He played defensive tackle for a minute for
Really?
us. He played on the defensive side of the ball. And the dude, I think the knock was that he only put one really, really good year of film out his last year, because the year before that he was in and out of the lineup and he wasn't the most consistent. But he was the best interior offensive lineman in the class, and it's not close.
Really?
I wouldn't have been shocked to see a team like the Raiders or the Dolphins take him in the middle of the first round. So to get him at the 12th pick in round 2 was an absolute grand slam of a pick.
Yeah.
When guys like Edgerrin Cooper and Max Melton and Jonathan Brooks are the picks around him, he sticks out like a sore thumb. Jackson Powers Johnson, the only reason he wasn't a mid to low first round pick is because positional value, people don't want to take an interior offensive lineman that high. That's the only reason I can think of that he didn't
Guards
go in
and
the
centers
first
don't
round.
go first round, like ever. What does SAF mean?
Safety.
Oh,
Tyler Newbin from Minnesota. Yeah, I like the safety pick. I thought maybe they would have taken Jaden Hicks, but Hicks actually fell on the board a lot farther than I thought he would. But I think they needed safety. McKinney's gone, so they needed a safety in New York, and I don't hate that. I just kind of liked Jaden Hicks a little more for them.
Yeah, Adonai Mitchell going to the Colts. I think that's awesome for Richardson. I think that's super
that
cool.
team has so much potential.
Yeah.
So much potential.
Give them 3 years.
They took Leatu Latu to pair with Kwity Paye. On the offensive side, Josh Downs looked great. Michael Pittman is Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Adonai Mitchell is everything they didn't have, because they had Josh Downs as a consistent slot guy, big physical, but maybe not the freakiest athlete, Michael Pittman. Now they have a big freaky athlete to be their third receiver. It's perfect. Perfect for Anthony.
Who's that
Richardson.
running back right now?
JT.
Is it still
JT? Yeah, JT. He signed that. He signed the deal.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he signed
All
the deal. So he's still, that offense has so much potential.
Yeah, I really like Anthony Richardson too. I thought it was a crazy pick last year, but I put him. I got him in fantasy, and I watched him play the 2 games, and he plays hard. He works
spitting
hard.
image of when we talked about shoot high. That's what they did. They shot high. They said, we're going to take a guy who could be the best quarterback athletically in the NFL. One more pick that I just want to, I guess not necessarily one more pick, but one more team I want to touch on really quick. As a Vikings fan, I really try to keep an eye on the teams in my division, especially because you can dislike a team and still try to be knowledgeable about them. The Lions got 2 boundary corner starters in the first 2 rounds.
They drafted really well.
They got Ennis Rakestraw in the 2nd round, and I had a late first round grade on him. They also, who did they take in the first round? His name gets away from me. Wasn't it Terrion Arnold they took in the first round?
I think Terrion
I want to say they got Arnold in the late first, who was my CB2 after Cooper DeJean. And then they took Rakestraw, who I had a first round grade on. They got 2 boundary corners with their first 2 picks.
Yeah, and that's where they were struggling last year too.
The whole NFC North, other than I'm going to sound like a hater because the Packers did take a tackle that in the first round. I didn't have the highest grade on Morgan out of Arizona, but I didn't love the pick. I didn't hate it. It just looks bad because the other 3 NFC North teams killed the start of the draft.
Yeah.
The Bears, the Vikings, and the Lions murdered the first 2 rounds of the draft. The Packers didn't draft poorly, but it wasn't Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. It wasn't J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner. It wasn't Rakestraw and Arnold. So it's just, I'm really interested to see how the rookies play because 3 of the 4 teams in that division murdered the start of the draft. Absolutely home run picks all the way around.
All right, let's go. Who had the best draft? Top 3 teams who had the best draft this year? In your eyes, because obviously you know college ball a lot more, and college doesn't always translate to the NFL. Though I will say, I think that the
Tuesday.
I think the Bears are number 3 for me. I think they had a great draft. I saw picks even in the 5th and 6th rounds where I was looking at the guys and I was like, wow, that was still a solid, guard pick. I don't remember exactly who it was, but I was keeping up with it as it was happening, and I'm
going to give the Eagles my highest grade.
The Eagles,
I think
number
the Eagles, because if you look at their class, I'll pull it up. Their class top to bottom, the Eagles draft class. Obviously, we talked about their first 2 picks, they got exactly what they needed. The biggest hole in the entire Eagles team last year was defensive back, because James Bradbury really took a step back. Darius Slay's getting old. He took a little step back, but he's still Darius Slay. Still a big play
and Gardner Johnson also left.
CJ,
CJ Gardner Johnson went to the
But they took two immediate starters for me in terms of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They took the receiver, A&M, what's his name? Is it Enos Smith?
Enos Smith.
I want to say it's I struggle with the pronounce. I struggle to pronounce it. But they took him in the 5th round, and I think he's a starting slot receiver. They took Will Shipley, who was a do-it-all back for Clemson last year. His whole career, Will Shipley was kind of like Austin Eckler was my player comp for him. Phenomenal receiving back. He ceiling for him, in my opinion, is like a worse Christian McCaffrey. His floor, in my opinion, is a worse Austin Eckler. I think he's going to be a good player no matter what. It's just how good.
Yeah.
But I think he's great in the 4th round. That's phenomenal value, some of the best in the draft. And then I grew up, and Jeremiah Trotter Sr. was on the Eagles. So getting Jeremiah Trotter in the 5th round out of Clemson, Trotter Jr., one of the best off-the-ball linebackers in the class, in my opinion. He doesn't move well in space, is my problem.
Gotcha.
But in the Eagles' defense, they drafted Quinyon Mitchell. They drafted Cooper DeJean. Those guys cover your back end. So they got 2 really good defensive backs and then a linebacker that's a thumper in the middle. I think they had the best draft, top to bottom, in terms of they got guys that can do everything and are super versatile, which is the Eagles, the name of their game is versatility.
Yeah. Yes. 1,000%.
Number 2, I'm going to ride for my team. The Vikings had the 2nd best draft because J.J. McCarthy is our QB. Dallas Turner was my number 1 defensive player in the class. I'm an Oregon fan. Kyrie Jackson is such a good take a chance on him pick. 6'3", a shade under 200 pounds. He's a little lanky, but he has CB1 mentality.
Okay.
He has CB1 mentality. Roma Dunze, he was a monster in every game, essentially, that he played this season.
Against Oregon.
He even had great games against Oregon, but at the scouting combine, there was a little bit that came up. The whole Washington-Oregon rivalry bubbled up because they asked Kyrie Jackson point blank, was Roma Dunze the best receiver you covered in college? And he said, no, absolutely not. It was Troy Franklin was the best receiver I covered.
Oh, really?
And so he got scorched for that. They said, oh, Roma Dunze, who put up these stats? And he said, show me a clip where Roma Dunze did it to me. Show me a clip where he did it to me. And people pulled up clips, and they weren't clips of Kyrie Jackson getting got. So to Kyrie Jackson's credit, Roma Dunze played great against Oregon. He did not terrorize Kyrie Jackson. He did not. He did great against our defense. So I like Kyrie Jackson because he's a good athlete that's got great prototypical size, and it was a 4th round pick. If he's not good, it was a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
We got a tackle that has good upside.
Yeah.
We got a center that we needed. If nothing else, Garrett Bradbury is getting old. We drafted him old. We need a center that could plug and play. Mm-hmm. Our kicking woes are. Maybe I'm not educated enough with other teams, but we have the worst kicking woes in NFL.
Oh, it is. It is
Gary
horrible.
Anderson and Blair Walsh haunt my dreams. Will Riker, save us. Save us, Will Riker, please. Please. We drafted Daniel Carlson. He had 1 bad game, and now he's the best. He's the best kicker the Raiders have had since Seabass. Please save us, Will Riker.
Yeah, the Vikings kickers have always been horrible. The amount of times the Seahawks have won because of Vikings kickers is I just remember at least 3 or 4, like 2 of them in the playoffs.
It hurts my heart, Blair Walsh. I won't even pretend I've got to watch tape on Levi Drake Rodriguez, A&M Commerce. I'm not familiar with this game. I'm going to have to watch. But in terms of the first 5 picks of the draft, or first 6 picks of the draft, I think we had the 2nd best draft because we addressed every single need we had.
Yeah.
The only need we didn't address necessarily is running back. We have Aaron Jones. Let's not act like Aaron Jones is washed up. And we already have a backup running back in Ty Chandler. We didn't need a running back. It was just like, I would have liked to see us take a flyer on one.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I think, this is just me, obviously a little biased. I think the Patriots had a good draft. I think Drake May was a solid pick, and then surrounding him with Jalen Polk. Like you said, yeah, he's not, Adonai Mitchell or anybody like that, but I thought it was pretty solid, and then they got everything else they need. Javon Baker from UCF is solid.
He's a sleeper.
He's a sleeper, dude. I saw, he goes up and gets those things. And then Joe Milton.
Imagine Joe Milton, Kirk Cousins is Drake May.
That's what I'm thinking.
I heard they asked Joe Milton if he was going to move to tight end or receiver, and nope. He said that'll never happen. That's the crazy thing is the last time I heard someone ask that question, they said that'll never happen. It was Terrell Pryor. He had 1,000 yards as a receiver. Keep an open mind, brother. I think Joe Milton. We talked about this during the draft because we talked about teams taking a flyer on him. Mm-hmm. This is the perfect range to take Joe Milton.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of the best speed, athleticism.
Crazy arm.
Probably the best arm. Even I'd put him on the same level as Rattler and Williams and May. I'd almost put him above a couple of those guys. F- decision maker. I can't tell you how many times I watched him float backwards and throw an absolute infield fly. But it's like in Madden, somebody's gonna make Joe Milton a 99 overall.
Yeah.
It might be me in a franchise in Madden 25.
It's just like, dude,
I might make Joe Milton my franchise.
Stop throwing on the run. But he throws 60 yards.
It's an incredible value pick in the 6th round. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my number 1 as the Rams.
I think the Rams had that.
I think the Rams
really drafted well for a team that hasn't drafted in years.
Yeah, they haven't had a draft pick in a long time, and I feel like without Aaron Donald, obviously it's going to be really tough. But they filled the D tackle and the edge rusher right off the bat, and got Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, who are both great picks, and they're from Florida State, like we were talking about earlier.
And Corum and Kyron Williams is chef's kiss.
It is
a deep running back duo. That's so nice.
Beautiful. Whittington was actually a pretty solid slot at Texas. I don't feel like he's anything special, but you still have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and I think he just kind of fits silently in there really well. Did they get a quarterback this year? No, they didn't.
No, I would have liked to see them take a shot on a Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I was hoping so too, because I don't know how many years Matthew Stafford's got left in the tank.
I mean, I think physically, I don't know how many he has left. He's a gamer, and he hasn't slowed down from what I've seen. I think the injuries are going to take a toll. Eventually, he plays like a warrior. And eventually it's going to start to catch up. I love Cameron Kinchins. The 3rd felt maybe a little bit early because he tested really poorly athletically, but he's kind of your box safety that has a little bit of overhang potential. He's a big safety. He's physical. But I like the pick in the 3rd round. I think he had more of a 4th or 5th grade for me, but I think to the Rams specifically, I think Cameron Kinchins is a really good pick.
Yeah, he fits their scheme really well too. And I mean, I liked Miami's defense at the start of the year. Whenever they were they were running around flying. They were hitting people hard at the beginning of the year, and then they just fell off hard.
And that is the Mario Cristobal effect. As an Oregon fan, I'm bitter. I'll admit it. I'm bitter. He left after all that talk about how he won't. But we got Dan Lanning out of it, and I will stand on the fact that even if Dan Lanning had left us for the Alabama job, he is a top 5 coach in college football, and he's a better coach already than Mario Cristobal was.
I think he's a better coach than DeBoer.
Cristobal is such a good recruiter. When it comes to X's and O's, he just doesn't know what he's doing. Our defense, part of the reason we got the doors blown off us in some big games is because he recruited so many athletes, so many high upside guys, and could not develop them.
Yeah.
I mean, he recruited Trey Benson, who ended up being an incredible running back for Florida State after he left us.
Transferred.
He couldn't find a way to get Trey Benson on the field, which is crazy to me. I know we have good running backs as of the last few years. We have Bucky Irving, Jordan James, Noah Whittington.
Oregon's always been a true running back kind of team.
Even 3. There was when we had Michael James, Kenyon Barner, Anthony Thomas.
I loved those running backs, dude.
Find a way when you keep them fresh, rotate them through.
Use them at the slot, like they did with the Anthony Thomas.
I loved C.J. Verdell and Troy Franklin. There's no way we couldn't just get Trey Benson a little burn. Yeah. There's no way we couldn't find burn for Trey Benson when he's that good.
All right, so last question, and then we'll switch over to the NBA. Who is the best division in the AFC and who is the best division in the NFC right now?
Did you see the Micah Parsons CJ
Yes,
Stroud?
I did.
Yep.
Yes, I did, and that's why we're going over
Micah
it.
Parsons said point blank on the pod that the NFC East was the best division in the NFL on paper, and then tried to backtrack, and CJ Stroud was like, "No, they're not."
Yeah,
And
he's like going into the year.
The best part is that CJ Stroud didn't even say his division. He said the AFC North. Look at the AFC North. And Micah Parsons really sat there and tried to argue that the Commanders and the Giants were on the same level. Every single team in the AFC North is a playoff caliber team.
Yeah.
The best division in football is. So I have two takes on this going into next season. There is who is the best and who has the potential to be the best. Who is the best team right now? The AFC North still.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers got two quarterbacks to try out with that elite defense. The Browns, the Browns are the Browns. If Deshaun Watson can be Deshaun Watson, they're going to be a potential playoff.
I mean, even with Joe Flacco, they still made the playoffs, and without Nick Chubb.
And they brought in Jameis. Chubb's going to come back. They brought in Jameis. They need to address receiver, in my opinion, other than Jerry Jeudy. But they addressed that Amari Cooper was their career number one. They got Jerry Jeudy. But so the Browns are, in my opinion, a borderline playoff team at least. The Steelers, we talked about, they got better. The Ravens, even though they did lose Geno Stone, who was a big part of their defense, they got Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They got Derrick Henry.
That changes.
And they drafted Nate Wiggins, that corner from Clemson. He can fly. Him and Marlon Humphrey,
Marlon Humphrey's a stud.
The Ravens are still the Ravens.
Yeah,
they're still here. They're not going anywhere. The Bengals are getting Joe Burrow back. That's the best team right now in the NFL. Or not the best team. The best division right now in the NFL. Who could be? If the Bears and Vikings take the leaps they're primed to, and the Lions and Packers already made the playoffs last year, that could be the best division in football. Because the Lions are the Lions. The Packers shocked everyone at the end of the year, went on a hot run. The Bears and the Vikings got so exponentially better this offseason because the Vikings, obviously, I know all of our moves. Blake Cashman was an incredible pickup. We killed the start of the draft.
Yep.
We got off the edge from the Texans. Who do we get? Jonathan Grenard. And for a fraction of what we were paying Danielle Hunter, I think Danielle Hunter's a better player, obviously, for a fraction of the price. We got Van Ginkel from the Dolphins. We filled so many holes.
Van Ginkel is a good
and the
pickup.
Bears filled so many holes. If all four teams play up to their potential, all four of them are at least wild card contenders, at least. So I think that could be the best division in football.
I got to look at the NFC West on the NFC side. You got the Niners, who are obviously one of the best teams in the NFL right now, if not the best team on paper. The Seahawks had a few good pickups. They got Byron Murphy with that, and they also picked up an outside linebacker that I'm not remembering right now. They're changing their defense back to the 4-3 instead of the 3-4 that they've been running, which is a huge shift. Obviously, Pete Carroll just left, which is ginormous. But
Mike McDonald's the perfect guy.
Yes, he really is. He really is. Yeah. The Rams made a lot of good picks, and when healthy, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. Obviously,
I mean, shoot, we saw last year, even when not healthy,
they still
the Cooper Kupp missed time, Kyron Williams missed time, Matt Stafford was banged up, and they still made the playoffs and almost took down the Lions.
And Sean McVay is similar to Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, excuse me. He's an X's and O's guy. Like, he knows how to beat teams.
If they draft the pieces for him, he'll put them in positions to succeed.
Exactly, and they did draft some great pieces this year. And the Cardinals, I think, are a little slept on. I think they have a really tough division, which is why they lose so much. But, I mean, you still got Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray still showed he's a good quarterback. He can be a good quarterback when he needs to be. It's just sometimes he is stupid. Like,
I got a fun one for you here.
Yeah.
NFC West, NFC North, put them together, rank those teams for me, top to bottom.
Okay.
Best to worst.
Best is the Niners.
The Niners, I think that's true.
Number 2 is going to be the Lions.
Yep.
Number
three
three
is where we get...
Number 3, I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Okay.
I actually am going to go with the Vikings. Number 4, I'm going to go the Packers.
The Packers over the Rams?
Yeah, the Packers over the Rams. Just because I saw a lot from Jordan Love that I did not expect last year. 5, I'm going to go Rams. 6, I'm going to go...
You got Seattle, Chicago, Arizona left.
Seattle. And then 7, Chicago. 8, Arizona.
I think the crazy thing about it is that in my opinion, 7 of those 8 teams. Not to say the Cardinals have no chance, because Kyler Murray was MVP caliber the last time he was fully healthy for a full season.
Mm-hmm.
But
they also got rid of Marcus
there's
Brown.
7 of those 8 teams where if they made the playoffs, I would be like,
yeah, that makes sense.
The scary thing is that some of them are going to have to miss it. Like, who's missing the playoff? Because I think the Vikings and Bears are the most likely suspects, other than maybe the Rams and Seahawks. But I don't think there's, of those 7 of those 8 teams, I think the only team that's a lock to make the playoffs, the only team, and the Lions fans will hate this, the only team that's a lock is the Niners, because the Lions are a young team that could kind of stay down on themselves after they went in at their peak and maybe they fall off a little bit.
They're plateauing.
The Lions are as close to a lock without getting a lock as you can get, in my opinion. But every other team, Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Bears, Vikings, it's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. They could all make the playoffs, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see that NFC North, just because Dan Campbell, he was like, this was our year. This was possibly the only chance we got.
He was realistic about that might be our window.
Yeah, like that might be our window. And I still see them making the playoffs and making a deep playoff run this next year. They drafted pretty solid, and they made a few good moves in the offseason. All right, AFC North and AFC East. Put those together.
If I'm ranking them?
Yeah, because the Jets have Aaron Rodgers back. The Patriots have Drake May now and a new coach. And the Patriots aren't a bad team.
The Bills got worse. The Bills just got worse.
Consistently get worse.
As much as I've always said, if I wasn't a Vikings fan, I think I'd be either a Bills or Chargers fan. The Bills, just because I just love the fan base.
Yeah,
they're a fan base that they talk a little trash with their divisional teams, but like they're drinking beers and jumping through tables. Like the Bills fans just love football.
Yeah.
And the Chargers, Justin Herbert's just my guy. Like if I was going to pick a team, I feel like if I had to pick a new team, you don't want to pick a team that's at the top. Like I'm not going to be like, I'm just going to be a Niners fan.
Yeah, or
the Chargers are kind of slept on, and they're a little down low right now. I would take them because I'm a Herbo guy.
Yeah. That, and also I grew up on LT.
But I'm just like with the Bills. I'm so. It's like when you're watching a train wreck and you can't look away. I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm trusting that they have a bigger plan. I don't see it.
Yeah.
You're getting rid of everyone, and you're not picking up people in return.
And McDermott's not like a crazy X's and O's guy, and Josh Allen's like literally carrying that team half the time, and it's just tough to watch. But
if I'm going AFC East to NFC or AFC North together, my number one, my 101 is the Ravens. The Ravens are my 101 because they got Derrick Henry. They got Derrick Henry, and I know the Chiefs had a really good run defense, and they have Chris Jones, but if he had Derrick Henry to hand the ball off to, we might be talking about a different game. Because not to hate on Gus Edwards, but he's not Derrick Henry.
No, and J.K. Dobbins is injured constantly. It's like when Peyton Manning and Marshall Faulk played together. It was just like, whoa, that is just.
So they're my 101 in there. My 2 is. I have to give my flowers to Joe Burrow and
the Bengals. Yeah, it was
I'm going to give the Bengals
the Dolphins.
too. Because if I watched the Bengals play anyone in the AFC East in the playoffs, I think they got them. If they play anyone in the AFC North other than Lamar, I think Lamar has their number. He plays great against the Bengals.
But Joe Burrow also has Mahomes' number too.
Yeah.
And he's our savior to make sure that they don't three-peat.
I think my 3... The 3 is the hardest question for me because...
Personally, I'd go Dolphins at 3. I think the Dolphins still are just one of the best teams all around. I don't
believe in Tua.
I don't believe in Tua, but I believe in their coach.
I'm going to take the Jets as my number 3. I think
3?
Aaron Rodgers puts up top 10 QB numbers. They drafted Olu Fashanu.
They did.
They're going to protect Aaron Rodgers. They have Breece Hall. They have Garrett Wilson. They brought in Mike Williams. That team, they've got weapons. I trust Aaron. I watched Aaron Rodgers torture the Vikings too many times. I refuse to count him out because of one injury. So I'm going to take the Jets as my number 3. I think they win the AFC East.
That's a whole. You think they win the AFC East?
I think they win the AFC East.
Really?
I think they go 12-5 or 13-4 and win the AFC East.
That's crazy.
My number 4, closely behind them. I trust the vision. I'm going to take the Bills. I think Josh Allen will will the Bills to the number 2 in the AFC East.
He probably will.
And then it's still so muddled because I have the Browns, the Steelers, the Dolphins, and the Patriots left. I'll tell you for free, the Dolphins are next for me.
Okay.
They're next for me because they're so much more talented offensively than every team left.
Yeah, and A-Chain is crazy, dude. He's good.
Next, I'm going to take the Browns because of that number 1 defense. Their offense is so weird, and I don't know what it's going to look like. But I think their defense is not going to let them be horrible.
Deshaun Watson needs to get a little rub off.
Steelers, Patriots. I'm going to take the Steelers over the Patriots, but the Patriots' potential with Drake May, I could see them jumping the Browns and the Steelers in this 8-team stack. Right. I could see them jumping both of them. I don't see a world where they don't go last in the AFC East. I don't see a world where they're not last. That doesn't, like, they'll improve. They could win 7 games and be last in the AFC East.
Yeah.
I just don't see a world where they're not last.
Yeah.
That whole team, top to bottom, can shoot, because if your knock is that they're better shooters than Shea, Shea's not the best shooter on that team. You don't have to be better than Shea. You have to be better than the Thunder.
Yeah.
Shea's not a bad shooter either.
No, he can knock it down when he wants to, and his mid-range is nasty.
Because the Clippers, he's right, PG's got a good shot when he's on, which has been suspect lately.
Yeah.
Kawhi, when he's on, is a good shooter. Harden, when he's on, there's so many shooters on that team where it's volatile, where they might go 1 for 7 from 3. The Thunder don't really have a lot of nights where their guys just can't shoot the pill.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's on every night, it feels like.
All right, so
we got to revisit our bracket.
Yeah, we got to revisit the bracket. Thunder swept the Pelicans. I called that.
Yeah, we did.
Sure.
We said that there was no world where the Pelicans.
Yeah, especially without.
We thought maybe they steal a game, and we said maybe they steal one.
But the Thunder came out swinging. They were like, after that close win.
They played their worst game in game 1. It reminded me of in Marvel when Iron Man and Cap were throwing hands, and Iron Man's like, analyze his battle strategy, like get his patterns. And as soon as he did, he's like, let's kick his ass.
Yeah.
I think game 1 they were throwing shots with the Pelicans, and they were like, we gotta watch our tendencies.
Right.
And then game 2 tipped off, and they were like, let's beat that ass.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Like,
I really wish that Brandon Ingram was better. I thought Brandon Ingram was like the next KD.
I thought he had a KD build, but I don't think he's more Carmelo than KD
That's
for me.
true. ISO,
now he's more Carmelo than KD for me now.
What kind of offense does KD run? Because did you see the thing where KD said he never really felt comfortable in the Suns' offense this last year because it was a pick and roll offense?
I don't
so like, what would KD's?
As a guy that can score at all 3 levels, I don't know how you can feel uncomfortable and like.
I feel like
he's
a good
pace
pick and popper.
Space. Like maybe pace and space is the best offense for you, where you get out running and shoot like the Warriors did. But like the Suns, outside of Book and KD, weren't really built for pace and space. Like,
no, they
Nurk
weren't.
is not a pace and space center, bro. He does not shoot the pill.
No.
And Beal took a step back. On his best nights, he can still be a shooter, but Grayson Allen is a good shooter. But he was not healthy or productive in the playoffs. So like, if you want a pace and space team, have pace and space players. Don't have Yusuf Nurkic start at your center.
Yeah.
Like, get a stretch big to get Al Horford. Like, if you want to be pace and space.
I was surprised that the Suns didn't even steal one though. I really thought that there was one game
after game 2. I didn't think they were good. I was. That's what I was really starting to question. Like, the Suns, I think, are down and out because
the Suns are breaking up.
To rebound from a bad start from a series, you need someone to rally the troops. KD is not the guy to rally he's never been the guy to rally the troops. Look what the Warriors did way back when he had Russ with him in that 3-1 comeback. Book will try, but like, he's got Jaden McDaniels on and Anthony Edwards on him on the perimeter. Like, he's getting hassled, bro. And they have no inside presence. Instead of bringing in Bradley Beal, they should have brought in a 4 or a 5.
Like a Porzingis almost. Like Porzingis would have fit there well.
They needed a Bosh to their LeBron and Wade. They needed a Bosh. They didn't need another guard. They needed a Bosh to go down low. A Kevin Love to their LeBron and Kyrie.
Yeah, they had no second. Like, they didn't have second chance points. Then that killed them.
Nurk's your only board chaser, and against the Wolves, Nurk's gonna get pinballed around because Rudy and Cat's soft defensively. Cat will chase boards.
Yeah.
He'll chase boards. Rudy might be soft sometimes, but he'll chase boards, especially if it's the 2 of them against Nurk.
Yeah, it's just like, there's nothing there. And KD's just not a rebounder, and he's old.
Somebody's going to have to go. I just question.
KD's gone.
I don't think it's going to be Book.
KD's gone. Book is staying. Book is the face of that
KD or Beal,
franchise.
one of them's got to go.
I think both of them go.
I think both of them should go. I don't know if both will.
Yeah.
Because I think Booker seems pretty set on, from what I saw, that he's like, it's usually year 2 that these teams hit their stride. So like he wants another year with them. But
I guess, but I mean,
what do you
Katie's
do?
getting
Like, what do
really
you do
old.
with that team? Because how much value does Bradley Beal have?
Not that much. Not
And what are you
anymore.
going to get for? Who wants Bradley Beal and is going to give you a big man that you need in return?
The Blazers get DeAndre Ayton back.
DA would do nothing for them, though.
I thought DA was so good when he came in.
He's Nurk that's a better scorer, but also a bad defender.
That run that they had, I was just like, oh yeah, like DeAndre Ayton is going to be him. Like he's going to be like that next guy, and he's just not.
I think around the league at like centers that they could go after. Like,
It's not many.
you know who would be a
Jared
great
Allen.
fit with them is like Miles Turner from the Pacers.
Yeah.
Why would the Pacers give up Miles Turner? They have him in Pascal Siakam. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Even like the Bucks with Brook Lopez, but like, why would the Bucks get rid of Brook Lopez? Like,
Yeah,
there's centers that fit them. Why would they let them go?
Right.
Even the Knicks with Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, why would they let them go?
Yeah.
Like, these teams value their centers.
And the centers are making a huge comeback, especially with like Embiid and Jokic. You know, like you need a good, solid defensive center now.
As their centers diversify their skill sets, they're becoming essential again.
Yeah.
Positionless basketball is still at a peak,
100.
but you need a big guy, even if he's not a traditional center. You need size, and the Suns. If Nurk's your size, you got problems.
Yeah, he's just what is he,
Nurk
like,
and
6'9", 6'10"?
I think he's like 6'10", but if
Yeah.
Nurk and KD are your size, you're going to get bullied.
Yeah,
Like,
consistently.
The Wolves prove that.
Yeah. Do we still think the Nuggets beat the Wolves? I am high on the Timberwolves right now. I do think that the Timberwolves
I don't want to be
beat
recency
out.
biased because the Nuggets have been here.
I know.
But
And Jamal Murray is different.
The Wolves stole a game last year against this Nuggets team.
That's true.
And that was Ant on his come up. Like, this is red hot Ant.
Yeah, and it's red hot.
I'm gonna say this is the best series in the entire playoffs, and I'm gonna say it's Nuggets in 7.
Nuggets.
I think it turns into a marathon, and the Wolves strike me as a sprint team. Like, they come out hot, they come out
Maybe
fast,
go
they
up
take you
2-0,
down.
and then
If the Nuggets drag them deeper and deeper into the series, I think that's where the championship pedigree comes in. I think I take the Nuggets in 7.
And Jokic has great stamina because he doesn't just sprint all the time. You know, like he's half running the entire time he's doing it, so he doesn't really lose a lot of stamina.
I want to see what the Wolves look like. To like make an analogy with a fighter being in their first championship fight in the UFC, what do you look like in the championship rounds? Like, you might be a good 3-round fighter. What happens when it's for the belt and you go 4-5? I want to see how you respond if a team takes you deep.
Yeah, are you Max Holloway?
Because we've seen the Nuggets, bro. We've seen the Nuggets' stamina. They can run with anyone.
Yeah.
Like, can the Wolves do that is my question. So I think the Nuggets take them deep and it goes 6 or 7 and the Nuggets win. But I think the Wolves put up way more of a fight than we were giving them credit.
And they're really hot right now too. The Wolves are. So it's just.
And the Nuggets, like, they took down the Lakers. I think we can all agree if Jamal Murray wasn't there to save the day, they might still be playing the Nuggets or the Lakers in 6 or 7, game 6 or 7.
Yeah. Clippers, Mavericks. Who do we think is winning this? This is still 2-2.
Clippers in 7.
You still think Clippers? I've actually shifted my view. I really was high on the Mavericks, but the Mavericks do not have the pieces. And it's like Kyrie and Luka, and then everybody else. You know, like there's no.
That comeback was impressive.
It was a super impressive, like
but
30-point comeback.
Luka had a bad night, and they couldn't win without him on.
Yeah,
and Luka is, in my opinion, the best player other than Jokic in the entire NBA.
I agree.
But he can't have a single off night or you're cooked. Like you can't win like that.
Yeah.
Like teams like the Celtics and the Thunder, like, are built in a way where Tatum and SGA can have not their peak nights, and they'll still give you bucket. Like, J-Dub will cover up Shea having a bad night. Shea had, 24 last game? Which for Shea isn't a super great game. J-Dub put up 24, 25. And when Tatum only has
15 and 11 boards.
And when Tatum only has 18, you've got you got Derek White putting up 30. Like,
you got Peyton Pritchard.
When the Mavs aren't built for Kyrie and Luka to fade at all, like, that's just, you can't win like that.
Yeah, like you're just going to get too far behind. Like it's going to be 3-1 because you had 2 bad games.
The Clippers' 2 wins came in games without Kawhi. Like, they're showing us their depth, even if it doesn't look pretty. Even if it's not pretty, it's depth. They're winning without Kawhi. And so I saw someone's top comment was like, oh, the Clippers are cooked because Kawhi's out for game 5. Their 2 wins are without Kawhi.
Yeah.
Like, and
really
he's going to
cooked?
come back. Like,
At this
still
point,
take the Clippers in 7, like
Okay.
I did. I'll stick with that.
I think I might actually switch and take the Clippers in 7 also now, just after seeing.
This is a
the couple
slugfest of a series.
It is, yeah. And the biggest thing is that whoever wins this is not beating the Thunder because the Thunder just swept and they have 4 days off.
Yeah, it's going to be Thunder Nuggets or Thunder Wolves. I think if it's Thunder Wolves, then the Wolves are going to win because if they're hot enough to take down Denver, I don't know what OKC can give them
especially
that
with
nobody
Gobert.
else has.
Gobert and Cat are
if
both
it's the
bigger than
Nuggets,
Shaq.
I'm actually going to take the Thunder in 6.
Really?
Because I think they're coming out of a dogfight with the Wolves over, like, that's going to probably go multiple games if they win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Thunder make quick work of whoever wins their series. They come in rested, and the Thunder come in fresh, and the Nuggets come in war-torn from a fight with the Lakers where they won on 2-game winners, and then they have to go through the Wolves. I think the Thunder come out clean. I think the Wolves are too physical for the Thunder. I think the Thunder are too physical for the Nuggets.
Okay. Yeah, so it's...
Which I know can be kind of interesting because then you get into Wolves, Nuggets, and you're like, well, then how are the Wolves and Nuggets, like, how is that physically a matchup? Jokic poses more of a threat to the Wolves than he does to the Thunder.
That's true.
Or no, I might have reversed that. I think you
said that right. Yeah.
Because the spacing the Thunder have, I don't think the Wolves necessarily have. Defensively, Jokic gives the Wolves problems in the sense that he makes them play inside.
Yeah,
Jaden McDaniels is like, he's playing like your perimeter stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's he on Jamal Murray? Michael Porter Jr.? Jaden McDaniels is not going to stop Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, that's just
it's up to Rudy and Cat.
And Rudy can have really bad nights too.
Yeah, and we saw that Jazz team run into the Nuggets, and we saw what Jokic does to Rudy in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if they run into the Thunder, everyone can shoot. They can spread the Nuggets out. Like that's
kind of like Sean was saying last week a little bit. If you let Jokic score like 31, 32, but hold him to 4 assists and 6 rebounds.
Better shot at winning.
They have a better shot at winning than, like, Jokic is going to, against the Wolves, Jokic is going to have a triple-double multiple times. You know, he's going to pass the ball out. He's going to suck people in.
Because he's going to be gravity to the Wolves' defense. They're going to have to gravitate to help towards him. It's going to leave shooters open.
Yeah.
That's where I think the Wolves lose in probably 6 or 7 is they just get tired of chasing shooters from the Nuggets.
After seeing the Thunder just absolutely demolish the Pelicans, I actually think the Thunder are going to be the conference winners. I think they make it all the way to the finals. I don't think that there's a team on the East that they can beat right now. Even if, like, the Bucks somehow... First of all, okay, let's go to the East real quick.
Yeah.
Bucks-Pacers blew me away. I did not think the Pacers were really like that.
No Dame or Giannis is...
That is true. And, I mean, Chris Middleton can put up 40 when he
he needs to.
Yeah,
but you don't win games.
He's still 32, 33 years old. And, no Dame.
I think the Pacers are moving on. The problem is, like...
Pacers are going to beat the Knicks, though.
I think the Pacers-Knicks is such an ugly matchup because I don't think either of them will beat Boston. Like, on the last episode of our pod, I talked about how I thought the Cavs and the Bucks had what it takes to bring down Boston. The Cavs have struggled. They're slowing down.
They are.
And the Bucks look cooked because of injuries. Now I'm like, Boston is probably going to run to the finals. Because the Pacers and Knicks will not take down Boston. They're not built for it.
Yeah, I don't see a world where the Pacers... I mean, even with Miles Turner on Porzingis and...
And Porzingis, I get he's hurt. I don't think it matters.
No, because he's more of a shooter anyway. You know what I mean? Like, he hits those mid-range
Well, they still have
shots.
Horford. They've got Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday. I think the way that the series have shook out, I shift from... I'm not in love with Boston going to the finals, but I don't see anybody in the East that opposes them.
Yeah.
I think only Western Conference teams look like a threat to them right now.
Yeah. I mean, the Heat beat them without Jimmy Butler. The Heat beat them once, but I mean, I think that was definitely just like a little bit of a fluke.
I think they channeled their dark magic and they did what the Heat do. They came out for a game and shot the lights out.
Yeah. Tyler Hero just stood on business.
So I think it's Knicks, Pacers, Cavs, Celtics. But I think the Cavs, they came out so hot, and that's... I told you when I got here for the pod, I wore the T-Mac throwback jersey because I got to give respect to the Magic. I counted the Magic out real early. Yeah. I really did after the first 2 games. But I still think the Cavs win it, but I think both teams have shown something that shows a flaw that the Celtics can capitalize on.
Yeah, and...
The Cavs start hot, and then they blow their load too soon. And the Celtics have this depth to have stamina. And the Magic are slow starters. You can't start slow against Boston.
No, you can't.
You can't start.
You're going to go down 3-0. Like,
yeah,
immediately.
It's so fast.
Yeah. The Magic, I still think the Magic are going to win this series. I still am high on the Magic. I called the comeback. I think the Magic have more momentum than the Cavs do, and I think that's why they take it. But it does go to 7, and the Celtics win tonight, which means that they're moving on, or tomorrow, and which means that they're moving on, and the Celtics are going to beat either the Cavs or the Magic. A lot of it has to do with...
They'll beat the Pacers or Knicks, too.
Yeah, they'll beat the Pacers. Unless the Bucks come back right now.
The East looks super settled right now.
Yeah, which is
like, it looks over, which is disappointing because I think every team had a real shot, every single team out East, except for I wasn't huge on the Magic. But I don't think anyone's cracking the Celtics when the Celtics' biggest flaw is that Porzingis is a little banged up. Like,
yeah.
Everyone else, the Cavs slowed down, the Magic are inconsistent, the Bucks are decimated by injuries,
yeah.
The Pacers are young, the Knicks are... It's Jalen Brunson offensively, and that doesn't work against teams like Boston. And then the Sixers, JoJo's clearly not.
Yeah, if JoJo's healthy, I think that the Sixers actually beat the Celtics. I think that the Celtics just choke. They choke, and Embiid has been working so hard to get past like the second round throughout his entire career. I really think that the Sixers could beat the Celtics, but JoJo is not healthy. So therefore, it's just not going to happen.
So I think the Celtics run to the Eastern, run out the East. I think they break out of the East easy.
Yeah.
I think that the real question is how fast do they come out of the East, because they're probably going to be more well rested than the West, because the West is a dogfight.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if it comes down to like Thunder, Clippers, Wolves, Nuggets. All 4 of those teams are, and even if it's the Mavs with Luka, like all 4 of those teams, in my opinion, are better than the Magic, better than the Cavs, better than the Pacers, better than the Knicks.
Yeah.
I'd take all 4 of those teams over them. So I think it's the Celtics and everyone else in the East, and the West is so stacked that like this is perfect for Boston.
Yeah.
Because they're going to run through the East and then get a war-torn version of whoever comes out the West.
Right, and there's going to be some injury that happens in the semifinals.
There almost always is.
Yeah.
Someone almost always comes into the finals banged up.
Yeah. This is just a crazy thought. Like, Jokic is never hurt. If Jokic gets hurt, do you think that the Nuggets can win?
Not against the Wolves or Thunder.
Not against the Wolves or Thunder, you don't think? You think Jokic is that, like, crucial to that offense?
I think they steal a game or two of Jamal Murray, because playoff Jamal Murray
is crazy.
He turns into the best point guard in basketball in the playoffs. And I think it really is a situation where people will be like, where does this come from? I really do think that he just, not to say he doesn't give effort in the regular season, but I think he's like 80% on the gas, because he knows they're going to make the playoffs, and he's like, what am I going 100% in the regular season for?
Yeah.
Even if we play bad, we're going to go to the playoffs.
Right.
So him and Jokic can have their nights where there was a game where Jokic had like 10 points and just dished the rock against the Pistons.
14,
where he just swung the ball around the whole game, like 15, 16 assists. Because the Nuggets know, hey, we're going to go to the playoffs. Why do we care about stats? So I think if Jokic goes down, they're probably done. Jamal Murray wasn't supposed to play this game, and he hit the game winner. That I'm curious about, because he said the team doctors told him to sit out. They told him to stop.
Decided not to, which is crazy against the Lakers too, because you were already up 3-1. Like,
you have one to give. You could burn a game.
Yeah.
You could burn one. But
all right, what's next for KD and what's next for LeBron? After the quick exits.
LeBron's an easier question than KD.
You think LeBron just stays and tries to get Bronny?
Yeah, I think.
Is Bronny going to enter the draft?
So he's in the draft, but also in the transfer portal.
Oh,
he hasn't hired an agent and stuff. He's eligible for college. He can talk to colleges. I think he's putting feelers out for the NBA.
He wants to go to Ohio State if he goes anywhere.
Well, because there's a consensus among GMs, some GMs in the NBA, that Bronny was held back by USC's play style and their coaching, because they brought in him and Isaiah Collier, who are like 5-star big name prospects, but there wasn't veteran leadership, there wasn't experience. It's not like they were going to a Duke or a Kentucky where they'd been there and developed players like that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of NBA GMs, the consensus is that he'll probably go late first to maybe even second round, but he's a first round talent. He's so NBA ready defensively.
Yeah, I do agree.
He's such a good defender.
Yeah, Drew Holiday. Like, I see him as Drew Holiday.
People hear LeBron James Jr. and they're like, oh, he's going to play like his dad.
Not even a little bit.
I mean, he's a better shooter than his dad was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
He's a better defender than his dad was coming out. He's not as imposing physically.
Well,
he doesn't crash the glass, but he's a point guard, not a small forward.
Yeah, he's like 5 inches shorter, you know what I mean?
So
he's a great defender.
If you put him in the box of being like his dad, yeah, of course he's going to disappoint you. But he's like you said, Drew Holiday, he's a good shooter with potential. He's a good playmaker with potential to grow. And he's a great defender.
Yeah, he'll always give you good defense. You can rely on good defense.
Don't expect him to come in and be a lottery pick, but he has lottery pick potential.
Yeah.
So I think the Lakers, it's not that crazy to be like, oh, they'll trade up to the 20th pick and take Bronny.
Yeah.
I do think something's got to give, and I think D'Lo is what's got to give.
Yeah, D'Lo is such an interesting story. I was so high on him coming out of Ohio State. I just thought he was going to be that guy. And, you know, he played with Kobe a little bit, and so it wasn't like, you know, he didn't do that well.
He just keeps flaming out everywhere.
I know, but then he goes to Brooklyn and puts up 48 like 7 times in that season with a constant 11 assists and made that Brooklyn team a playoff like piece. But then he goes to the Lakers and he goes 0 for 17 shooting.
Well, and he flamed out with LA, he flamed out with Golden State, he flamed out with Minnesota. And I'm like, you think back to that Minnesota team, before Ant was there, they had, or even while Ant was there, they had Ant and D'Lo and Kate. Like, something has to be wrong with D'Lo for the Wolves, who are they are now, to look at D'Lo and be like, we
don't want it.
We don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't want it. Because, like, it's D'Lo, bro. Like, I feel like if you look at the Wolves now, you're like, yeah, they could use D'Lo. He gets buckets. He was there and it didn't fit.
Yeah.
If he can't fit on a team like Minnesota that's that deep and talented, where does he fit?
It's just like
where does he fit on a championship team?
Shanghai.
Because if he went to the Bucks, I think he messes up their chemistry. If he goes to Boston, he messes up their chemistry. Like, he doesn't. He's a classic case of you can be a hooper and not be an NBA fit.
Yeah.
Like, not every hooper would do great things in the NBA.
I could see him being like a 6-man. Like, I feel like he might do pretty well.
I don't think he wants that. Really.
Right, which is the issue. So.
What team does he fit with? Like.
The Pistons? No, not even, because Kate Cunningham.
Like, if his role in the Suns was to be Bradley Beal, maybe that could work. But even then, the problem isn't even necessarily Bradley Beal, it's inside presence. And D'Lo's not going to do anything for your inside presence. Like,
did you see that post that was like, the Detroit Lions and the Detroit Pistons had a great year this year, both of them equaling 14 wins.
Yeah. So hypothetical for you, and I want you to tell me who would say no and if it would work. The Lakers call up the Bulls, and they say, how do we have to make this happen? Zach LaVine, D'Lo.
Oh.
How do we make it happen?
Oh.
Because I think LaVine, if he was on the Lakers, that's what the Lakers' next move should be. It should be Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Because one of them's got to go, clearly. It's felt like forever that we've been saying one of them's got to go.
Yeah.
And I think DeMar is a veteran leader, and Zach's still in his prime, so I think...
Yeah, he's only 28.
Zach seems to be the catalyst where he's like, I want out. I want to win. And I think DeMar, not that DeMar doesn't want to win, but DeMar won one with the Raptors.
No, he didn't.
No, he got traded in the Kawhi trade. But I think DeMar is at the tail end a little bit, where he's a little more comfortable being a developmental
Yeah, he's
leader.
like 34, 35.
But I think Zach wants to win now. So I think Zach to LA for D'Lo, but like, who says no, and what do we have to do to make it happen?
So the Bulls say no, and I think you need to give up either Austin Reeves or possibly
Vando.
Yeah, or like Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not like
Rui.
great.
Like if it's
Rui,
Rui
yeah,
D'Lo,
okay.
if it's Rui D'Lo and a pick, do you take that for the Bulls?
If I'm the Bulls,
Rui D'Lo would a pick for Zach LaVine. I think you take
first
it
round or
because
second round.
For first, I'd say a protected first.
Protected
the
first.
The thing about
I would
it
take
is,
it,
is that the value you probably should get for Zach LaVine? Probably not. But the whole league knows Zach LaVine. The chemistry's off. The locker room's off. That tanks his value because people know he doesn't want to be there.
Right.
So if I'm the Lakers and I throw you that offer and you say, oh, no, it's Zach LaVine. We want Austin Reeves. I'd be like, Zach LaVine doesn't even want to play for you. I'm not giving you Austin Reeves. He doesn't even want to be there. I'm helping you try to fix your locker room.
Yeah.
I think that win is a win for both sides because Kobe White can step into the starting lineup and be who he was, which was a really good player.
Stellar player.
They get Rui, who's a high upside guy. They get a pick to maybe throw around, and then D'Lo gives you buckets.
Yeah, D'Lo can give you buckets.
He puts people in seats.
And DeMar DeRozan.
I think that's a win-win. That should be the Lakers' next move, is to go get Zach LaVine.
I think
get Zach LaVine.
That would be one of the missing pieces.
And then draft Bronny and go get Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
I think that's what you do. Because then your 5 is Bron at the 1. You've got Zach LaVine at the 2. At the 3 you run, or no, Reeves at the 2, LaVine at the 3. And then you've got Vando, AD.
Wait, hold on. Why not have LaVine at the 1, Reeves at the 2, LeBron at the 3?
Oh, LaVine
Davis
can't
at
facilitate to be the 1.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
He's too ball dominant.
He just like drives.
You go Bron at the 1, Reeves at the 2, LaVine at the 3, Vando at the 4, AD at the 5, and you've got Bronny coming off the bench as a really good defender. That team looks better to me than this Lakers team.
Yeah, that team does look really nice, and I still don't think they beat the Nuggets, but I think that they put up enough numbers that they could beat like the Clippers or the Mavericks, and they could make like a deeper run as long as they don't.
Well, the thing about the Nuggets too is that like this Nuggets team is really good right now. They can't stay together forever.
No.
Eventually, Michael Porter Jr. is going to want a bag.
Yeah.
And will they give him?
He has like $35 million a year.
But that's his contract, and Jamal Murray's contracts are going to come up in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and they're going to be like 40
And
plus.
Yoke's going to is going to want another. Of course, you give him another supermax.
Yeah.
But like their team around them, how long do you pay KCP? When is KCP going to want out? Reggie Jackson doesn't do a ton in the playoffs, but in the regular season, there's nights where they can lean on Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, and you do have to like pay him
and
still
like,
a little bit, like 12.
You've got
15.
Christian Brown that's gonna want some money because he's a big part of that team now.
Yeah.
Like there's pieces, a lot of moving pieces to the Nuggets that make them tick. And teams like the Wolves and Nuggets and Thunder, eventually something's going to break up.
You got to pay. Well, Shea just got a fat contract, but you're going to have to pay Chet in like 2 years or so. Josh Giddey, I think the Thunder let Josh Giddey go after this year, to be honest. I don't think he fits their offense that well.
I think if they don't win the finals this year, they include him with picks to try to go get somebody that's already got team control, like a Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
If they call up the Celtics and say, we'll give you 4 first-round picks and Josh Giddey, and maybe we throw in like a Isaiah Joe, like that's kind of win-win because the Celtics will find a way to keep Josh Giddey, and the Thunder get a star to put with Shea.
Yeah, Josh Giddey's actually could fit in the Celtics offense.
Giddey's so diverse. He fits everywhere.
He passes the ball so freaking well, but he's so.
It's all about teams that will and won't pay Josh Giddey because teams like the Thunder, you're like, we got mouths to feed, bro. We got to pay J-Dub. We got to pay Shea. We got to pay Chet. Like we got to pay Lou. We just don't want to throw what Josh Giddey's worth. That's not to say he's not worth what he's going to ask for, but like the Thunder, it doesn't make sense for them to throw a bag at Josh Giddey.
Yeah, and
but teams like Miami or Boston, those teams, it makes sense to throw money at Josh Giddey because they need what he brings, which is a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it was kind of like Fred VanVleet. Like I didn't think when I saw Fred VanVleet got signed for that much money, I was surprised. But then I saw him play with that Houston team, and he fit really well into that team. And he was like developing Jalen Green and helping out Sengun, who is
guys that make everyone better. And that's Josh Giddey's one of those guys. But the Thunder have guys that fill all the roles Josh plays. I mean, maybe they need a facilitator if Josh is gone a little bit, but like you can find a facilitator for less than what you'd pay Josh Giddey.
What do the 76ers need? A healthy JoJo, obviously. They need to get rid of Tobias Harris, in my opinion.
Need a number 3. Yeah, Toby's got to go. I think this was the year for us to say, okay, if we don't win this year, Toby's got to go.
Yeah.
Oubre's a free agent.
I wouldn't keep him.
I'm so mad about the B-Ball Paul situation about Paul Reed because I wanted us to keep Paul Reed because he has so much potential. We paid him a bag because he was going to leave. He's going to Indiana.
Okay.
And I like that we paid him to keep him away from Indiana, but now I'm like, we're paying him so much and he's not performing in the playoffs. But at the same time, I agree, don't let him walk for nothing. Like, don't let him go to the Pacers.
Yeah, you got
because he would fit well there. But it's like, we need a number 3 or like a 2A, 2B with Maxey, like what Jimmy Butler was when we had him, which I will never not be upset about. I think there's a world, a realistic world where if any team calls the Suns and says, let's swing a Bradley Beal deal, it's a Toby Bradley Beal deal. Because Toby doesn't give inside presence technically.
No,
but he fits with Book and KD better than Beal.
Yeah.
And Beal fits with Maxey and Embiid.
Yeah.
I think both players underperformed and are overpaid. but they
Yeah,
fit
that's
better if you were to swap them. So like,
yeah, because Toby's like you.
I
I
don't love Bradley Beal, but I like him better than Toby. And I think maybe I'm biased, but I feel like Toby fits the Suns more than Bradley Beal. So maybe that's a team where you both say we just need another look. Like both teams are underperforming. You just say we just shake it up.
Yeah.
Like
let's look at an alternate universe. You remember the beginning of the season or last off season per se when Dame was trying to get traded to somewhere. If Dame goes to the Heat instead of the Bucks, does this change? Like, let's say you have healthy Dame and Jimmy Butler against the Celtics. Do you think that
They'd take
team?
them down.
You think you take them down, especially with Bam in the middle?
The hugest factor though is, what do we think a package of Dame to Miami would have looked like? Because what was the full package for Dame to Milwaukee?
Oh, let's see.
It was
pull it up. It was Drew Holiday, a couple picks, and there was one other piece.
Because the problem that arises
wasn't
is
DeAndre Ayton
it seemed
involved in that
like
trade
for
too?
Dame to go to Miami, Tyler Hero had to go back. And then I'm like, I agree with Miami a little bit, where I'm like, I don't think I would have gave up. Damian Lillard's better than Tyler Hero, but like
Sure, but like
Tyler Hero
Hero's
fits
24.
he's part of the culture in Miami too. Like
Yeah.
he fits that team's identity, and I just don't think I think it's too what's the word for it? Like horizontal of a move. Like it's too you're staying too much the same.
Yeah, you're not improving your team.
Like I want to look up if there was a proposed Miami trade package of what they wanted.
It did involve Tyler Hero. It involved, I think, Gabe Vincent before he left. It involved like 3 picks, and there was one more player it involved that I don't remember. But that's what I saw. I know Drew Holiday was part of the Bucks trade because Drew Holiday went to Portland and then immediately went to the Celtics, which was huge. I want to say it was a 3-way trade, and DeAndre Ayton was involved too because DeAndre Ayton went to the Blazers. Yeah, the problem with the Heat was like they just didn't have enough money or picks to really do anything.
Because I mean, he wanted to go to Miami.
Really.
I think we all knew that.
Yeah.
I just think the return, like the Bucks had so much more leverage than Miami did over Portland because what Portland's whole thing was is they had said we want to stay competitive, this and that. The Bucks don't have players that are Tyler Hero-esque, that they're like young and very talented and movable.
Yeah.
Like the Bucks' big players are like Bobby Portis, who is not a Tyler Hero type of player. Chris Middleton, who's older and you probably don't want him.
No.
Giannis, who you know is not going anywhere. Brook Lopez is not going anywhere. So Drew Holiday was the only real player where they were like, you can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
In Miami's negotiations, Portland could say, there's a Tyler Hero there. We know you have a young, controllable player, and we want him.
Yeah.
They didn't have a player in Milwaukee for them to point at and say, you give him or no deal.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
And even when the Blazers talked to the Sixers, as a Sixers fan, they had King's ransom because they were like, Tyrese Maxey or no.
Yeah.
And we were like, then no. And they went to Miami and they were like, Tyler Hero or no. There wasn't a player in Milwaukee for them to say this guy or no. Like, losing Drew Holiday in his age is so much less of a punch to the gut of your team than losing a Tyrese Maxey or Tyler Hero.
Yeah. Because those teams are like, give them 3 more years and they might be your number 1. I mean, Tyrese Maxey already looks kind of like the 76ers number 1 when Joel's not there.
He definitely is.
Yeah.
Most improved, 30 points a game. But it's just, I don't think Dame would have worked anywhere else because the Blazers approached this so poorly, in my opinion. With the Dame trade, they basically publicly were like, wherever you want to go, we're tearing it down when you send you there.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee were one of the only teams that had the leverage to say, like, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't tear us down. You can't tear us down. You got Drew Holiday, take it or leave it.
Yeah, and a pick.
Because even if he had got sent to another Western Conference team, the Thunder were not giving up young assets to get Damian Lillard.
No, not even.
The Clippers were not giving up Kawhi or PG for him. Mm-hmm. So, like, what were they going to do?
Does Dame fit better than James Harden on that Clippers team?
Yeah, way better.
Way better, you think?
Way better. I think he's a worse facilitator, but he's so much better as a scorer.
Yeah.
And he fits the shooting identity.
The James Harden fall off is pretty crazy.
I think Dame to Dallas made a lot of sense, but again, he doesn't fit with Kyrie. And other than Kyrie, what do you even want from Dallas for Dame?
Yeah, and Damian Lillard needs somebody to, like, Like when he had LaMarcus Aldridge, I mean, that team was unstoppable. That team was so good because you had the pick and roll, and Dana's pick and roll is really nice when he uses it properly. And I mean, even when he had Nurkic in Portland, that was still
he made Nurk look real good.
Yeah, Nurkic got paid, dude. Like
I don't think that the Wolves. I think obviously the Wolves and Nuggets make sense for Dame because they did have young movable assets. It's in division, and I don't think the Blazers wanted to do that.
Yeah, and
because like a Dame to the Wolves trade. You don't want to give up Ant. I think it's centered around Cat. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It centers around Cat. But Wolves, like, I think if I'm the Wolves, I'd be like, yeah, I'll give up Cat to rent Dame out and put him with Ant. If I'm the Blazers, I'm like, you think you can win now with Cat? With Cat and Jeremy Grant and Scoot Henderson, you're going to win? No, you're not. Like, that's a worse return than Drew Holiday because you at least flipped Drew. So who else you sent? He doesn't fit with the Suns because we saw they have too many shooters and not enough inside presence.
Yeah.
And then of the Lakers, every time a star gets breathed in a trade sentence, Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Dame Lillard, Drew Holiday, the Lakers always get mentioned. Do you think the Lakers, what would a trade package have looked like, and would they be better off with Dame?
The Lakers would give up D'Lo for sure. They'd have to give up.
I think Reeves probably.
I think they'd have to give up Reeves. Dame is just
they want
too much
a young, controllable player in return, and Reeves is young and about to get paid, but is controllable.
Yeah, and the Portland has the money to pay him, and they would pay him big, probably.
And then all of a sudden, you're gutting the Lakers, and it's like, are the Lakers going to gut their team to put LeBron, Dame, and AD together?
Yeah, LeBron at 40.
We've shown that they'll do that, though.
Yeah,
like, they did that for AD.
I mean, LeBron has done that throughout his career, just in general. Like he's just done that multiple times.
I think that's the only other landing spot that made sense. I saw a lot of Dame to the Sixers, and again, I was like, if we could get it done, I would do anything not involving Embiid or Maxey. And the problem is, then there's no deal.
Maxey, yeah, because the leverage is there.
Yeah, if there's no Embiid or Maxey, then there's nothing they want that's worth Damian Lillard.
Yeah. Would you trade Lillard for Murray?
I don't know if I would on either end.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
I don't
make
think
sense.
the Blazers would gain a lot from having Jamal Murray as their number one, and I don't think Jamal Murray wants to go to the Blazers.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets, why would you mess up your chemistry for Dame?
Yeah, Jamal Murray's a great number two. Like, I feel like if you have him on
I think he'd be Jalen Brunson. Like, he'd be someone's one and get him to the playoffs and win a series or something, but I don't think you can win a finals with him as your one.
No, I don't think so either. Jokic, you just need that Jokic because he needs to get the pass. Like, his catch and shoot is fantastic.
If I had to put Murray on any team other than the Nuggets, I'd put him on the Magic.
On the Magic?
He would be filthy.
Yeah, that would actually be nasty.
He would be filthy in Orlando.
You'd have to give up, like, Mo Wagner and Jalen Suggs, probably, and maybe...
No, not even Mo Wagner. You have to give up Franz.
Yeah,
you have to give up Franz. And then, like, maybe Markelle Fultz, and then...
Or, like, Cole Anthony.
Yeah, like Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
But if you could... I mean, I'd even give up Jalen Suggs for him, to be honest.
And I like Jalen Suggs a lot, to be honest.
Because if you could have a five that consists of somehow, some way, Murray at the one, and like Cole Anthony at the two, maybe, and then at the three you got John Isaac, you got Wendell Carter, and you've got Franz Wagner. That team's tough.
And Paulo.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
No, not Franz Wagner, but Paolo Banchero at the four. And Wendell Carter. That team would be tough.
Yeah. Wendell Carter actually showed me a lot in that series. I've been watching
Bulls
that series.
gave up on him so fast.
Yeah, they did, and he was solid. I thought, maybe he just didn't fit their chemistry.
Teams just have kind of given up on players and sent him to the Magic, and
I know, like Markelle Fultz. Like,
I'm a Sixers fan.
Still kind of balling.
Fultz needed a reset. He would be so helpful to the Sixers right now. He would be so helpful for us.
That draft is so crazy. Thinking like Markelle Fultz number one, Lonzo Ball number two.
Jason Tatum, bro.
Jason Tatum at like 11 or 9.
We had Jason Tatum, bro, in Philly.
Tatum and Embiid was crazy.
Tatum and Embiid and Maxey. And Jimmy Butler, if we didn't pay Tobias Harris over him.
That team is tough.
It's unbeatable.
All right, so I asked this last night in the group chat, and I think...
You disagree with me? I know what take you're talking about.
Which take?
James Harden or Trae Young.
Oh.
Different take?
Yeah. I think James Harden I would rather have on a team right now than Trae Young. I think James Harden facilitates the ball. I think he can score when he's on.
What if it's like the Lakers? What if the Lakers have to pick up one? You get Trae Young over James Harden.
No, you take James Harden over Trae Young. On that Lakers team, with Anthony Davis, you have the pick and roll like when James Harden would do it with Clint Capella.
And then you don't need facilitating on the Lakers. LeBron does that. You need a scorer. That's Trae. That's Ice Trae. Ice Trae.
I think
if he stepped in and took D'Lo's shots, he's put more of them down than D'Lo does.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
He would be D'Lo, but he would make shots, bro. Like
I see James Harden.
Ice Trae on the Lakers. If listen, I know we talked about what the Lakers' next move is. If it's not Zach LaVine and they can somehow make Trae Young happen, I'd give up Austin Reeves and D'Lo to get Trae Young in LA. If I'm the Lakers, I'd give up Reeves and D'Lo to get Trae Young.
I see the Mavericks picking up Trae Young. I think Kyrie Irving gets traded.
Okay, I was gonna say that is the most ball-dominant AAU mixtape-ass team I've ever seen.
No, I personally, I
think Kyrie's gone if they get bounced.
I think if they get bounced, especially in the first round, Kyrie's gone. And I think what they do is they trade with the Hawks and they pick up Trae Young, and then maybe they try and get John Collins Jr. from the Jazz. Because that duo was already there. It was a good duo. Mavericks need size.
John always just underperforms.
I know.
Can't stand John Collins, bro. He should be so good.
He's so fun on 2K,
He's always a year away from being a year away. Lauri Markkanen is who John Collins was supposed to be, bro.
Yeah. Lauri Markkanen would be
the marksman.
Yeah, Lauri Markkanen on that Mavericks team, I think would be a great pickup. I was really blown away that Porzingis got traded so quickly. Pingus. But I was really surprised that they traded him away so quickly when he was on the Mavericks. I thought him and Luka were going to be like that foreign duo. And Porzingis he was hurt a lot. I feel like he was hurt a lot earlier in his career.
He's just hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He's hurt right now in Boston. He's hurt a lot. Okay, 3-team trade. Tell me who says no.
Okay.
We're going to build this because it's going to take... I have the framework. We're going to have to flesh it out. And I don't know how contracts would be, right? Oh, there's a trade. That's right. There's a trade builder in here. But the basis of the trade, it's a 3-team trade. This trade is Dallas, LA, and Atlanta.
Dallas, LA, Lakers.
Yep, and Atlanta. The Hawks. So this would be Trae Young goes to the Mavericks. Kyrie goes to the Lakers. Yep. Kyrie to the Lakers.
Ooh, Kyrie to the Lakers.
And then Reeves and D'Lo to the Hawks.
D'Lo is not tradable.
He's not tradable?
He's not tradable.
Why is he? Oh, he's not tradable. Okay. You got to put another person in
Gabe
here.
Vincent?
Vando. I think you got to give up Vando for the value.
To the Hawks.
And then this probably has to be fleshed out. There's got to be some more in here because Dallas is giving up Kyrie, just basically giving up Kyrie for Trae, and I don't think they need more than that probably out of this. So maybe we throw in Saddiq Bey from Atlanta because he's a shooter. That's a shooter out on the perimeter to Dallas. Now, the Lakers might want another young guy in return. So maybe we throw in like a Josh Green from the Mavs.
that would actually fit.
Who says no? Because the
Lakers are over the luxury tax with this trade.
They'd have to give her some money.
Okay.
So who's getting paid? Maybe we take out Vando and put in Rui because Rui's getting paid. We put in Rui Hachimura to the Hawks, and he's younger, so he's more enticing to the Hawks. So now, the Hawks are.
The Lakers are over the. Exceeded what's allowed via the 125. Cut $17 million from the Lakers.
Man.
$17 million from the Lakers would have to leave for this. D'Lo
is what it is.
Yeah. D'Lo is $17 million, but D'Lo's has a trade exception, I guess, where he can't get traded. I wonder if he has no trade clause.
I think maybe he'd waive it, but would he waive it to go to Atlanta, where it would be him, or not to? He would be going to Atlanta here, I would guess.
Do you take away Austin Reeves and do D'Lo?
I don't think the Hawks would take away Austin Reeves and do D'Lo.
And you'd have to do D'Lo.
I think the Hawks. This is a smart trade for the Hawks because they still have DeJounte Murray.
And DeJounte Murray's a stud. He just needs the ball more. I don't think he's a shooting guard. I think he's a point guard. When he played with the Spurs, he was a much better point guard than anything else.
I think. Okay, so if we finagle this a little bit more, let's take Saddiq Bey out because and then we'll throw in. Let's throw Kobe Buffkin in there as a young piece for the Lakers, and then instead of Josh Green, that's not dropping the money too much.
It's because Kyrie is 37 mil. Kyrie is the one who's taken up all that. So, do you just take the Lakers out of this? Because the Lakers trade, like the Lakers...
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the Lakers out because I think financially they got to figure out D'Lo first. But if we go back up and we add a third team, Phoenix.
Phoenix needs to get rid of Bradley Beal.
So we send Beal to Dallas. Oh, can he not? Why wouldn't it let us move him? Oh, there we go. Oh, Dallas, and then Trey to Phoenix.
Trey to Phoenix.
Because then he's younger, he's a better shooter. I think it still doesn't solve their big man problem, so we got to work in some big man help.
Yeah, but then like what about the Mavericks giving up right now? Who are the Hawks getting that the Mavericks would want? Would it be Kyrie still? Are you still doing Kyrie?
No. It's not Kyrie or Luka. I think
PJ Washington probably.
I think it's got to be a sum of young pieces. So PJ's going to Atlanta.
And
you're leaning into the fact that DeAndre Hunter and DeJounte Murray can be your guys. You throw Josh Green in there too to Atlanta.
Yeah, because he's 22, 23.
Atlanta wants to flip Clint Capella, so Clint goes to the Suns because they got inside presence.
Ooh.
But then Nurk would probably go to Dallas.
Dallas, probably, yeah. He actually might fit in there pretty good, pretty solidly.
So, and then there's gonna have to be another piece that goes to Atlanta here. They're not gonna want to give up Trey and Clint just to get PJ and Josh. So maybe
Kyrie. No, not Kyrie. Not Booker.
Maybe Ross Little.
What about Beal to the Hawks?
Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy's controllable, and he's a good young piece to come off the bench.
Okay, so they get PJ Washington, Josh Green, and Jaden Hardy.
And they give up, and then we want to throw. There would be picks in here too. I don't think there's picks in this.
No, I don't think so either.
Oh no, there's trade exceptions though. Okay, we gotta pay attention to that one for sure.
Davis Burns. So John Collins is a trade. John Collins is back on that team. I thought he was on the Jazz.
No, he's the trade exception from the Jazz.
Oh, gotcha.
So if we tried this, there would be picks involved. There would be picks involved here. Trade failed because the Mavs would be getting too much money, and Nurk and Beal, so they got
because they're not getting rid of Kyrie. So they'd have Kyrie, Luka, and Beal, who are all making over $40 million.
So maybe we got to send Timmy Hardaway probably out of there.
To the Suns? He would actually be a good fit.
Or even Maxi Kleba. Kleba gives the Suns a shooter. So I think that makes sense. That gives them a shooter. And the Suns the Mavs would be getting a third star, and they would be getting Nurk. They're giving up a lot of role players here for a star and a center. Does this work though? Throw out of it.
Ooh, that would be a fire one.
They won't let us put fucking Clay in there because he's not re-signed. That's why
he's the last year of his contract.
If they a Kuminga trade, where they bring in they wouldn't trade Kuminga to bring in.
Kuminga's way too good. What about Podziemski? Podziemski's pretty solid.
AirPod's pretty good, but let's throw Moses. Dre's probably gotta go, right?
Yeah, probably.
So let's throw Dre in there. He doesn't fit in Miami with Bam, but he does fit in Dallas.
He does fit in Dallas a lot. That actually gives Dallas a good.
So this is the framework here is, but who's Golden State getting back here? Tyler Hero, or is there someone else who fits better here? I don't think there is. So let's go Hero to Miami or to Golden State. Now, what's the supplement? Who's not getting enough? I don't think Dallas is probably taking that just Dre for Kyrie. So they need something else. We'll throw AirPod in there and maybe Nikola Jovic.
Okay.
Oh shit! I'm gonna click on his player card like that. Let's throw AirPod into Dallas, and let's throw Nikola Jovic to Dallas. Now, Miami is giving up Jovic and Tyler Hero for Kyrie Irving.
Which is not a horrible trade. Kyrie's only 31, and he's still very nimble.
I think another young piece probably goes to the Warriors if they're going to give up AirPod and Dre. But it's not something crazy, like something small.
PJ Washington.
Maybe Josh Green. No, it'd probably be a big, maybe Derek Lively.
Kleber?
Actually, Kleba.
No.
That gives them a stretch forward to put next to. They need a center. No, Gafford, bro. Gafford. Daniel Gafford next to Kuminga.
That actually would.
I'm sure there would be picks involved, but how do we feel about this? So the Mavericks get Draymond Green, Podziemski, and Jovic, and the Heat get Kyrie. The Warriors get Tyler Hero and Daniel Gafford. So they get a center to crash the boards and Tyler Hero to place next to potentially Clay and Steph for the future.
Okay.
The Heat are over the cap by what, 4 mil? And then 11 mil from the Warriors. So this can work.
This can work. Okay. So
this is doable.
Okay. So
is there trade exceptions at all? No.
No.
So we got to make the contracts work. Somebody's getting paid, and Chris Paul's got to go, right?
Yeah.
Chris Paul's got to go
30 mil to the Mavs.
Would he go to the Mavs to be their sixth man?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, probably because Scary Terry is on the Heat.
I don't know if you give up AirPod if you're giving up Chris Paul.
But I don't think the Mavericks will have enough money then if you do Chris Paul and Draymond Green.
What if they flip Kleba to Miami? How does this work financially? So the Heat are 15 over, the Lakers still 11 over. Oh, they're still 11 over. Tyler's getting paid, yeah.
Tyler is getting paid $27 million a year. That's pretty solid.
11 mil's got to go out of Miami. They're not going to give up Bam or Terry. But who's taking Terry on? Dallas?
Dallas would probably take Terry.
Nope, not there.
But
Dallas takes Terry.
But now Dallas is...
They're going to be over, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're over. Or no, they're 1.6 under the luxury tax, but they're 8 over, and they're 40 over on the luxury tax.
Yeah, so...
I don't know if this can...
Dude, I could see Wiggins going to Dallas instead of, like, Chris Paul.
Let's go...
The Warriors are paying their players so much money right now.
Let's skip back down to, like, right about here.
Okay.
And then let's say Wiggs is out and goes to Dallas. Dallas is getting Wiggs and Dre, and they're giving up Gafford and Kyrie. And then the Heat are going to have to give up more than Tyler Hero just to get Kyrie Irving.
Scary Terry.
Terry's got to go up. Maybe Jaime Jaquez.
Yeah, I don't think the money's there. But although I would like Jaquez in this trade, I think he fits on both of the Warriors and the Mavericks really well.
I think they're already taking shooters in Dallas, or in the Warriors, so Dallas probably brings Jaquez in, and then they flip a contract like maybe Hardaway to the Heat. How does it? Are they both? No, it's just the Lakers over 21 mil.
Just the Heat over 21.
Or the Heat, yeah.
Over 21 mil.
They have a bad contract. It's Terry, but who's Terry going to go to? The Warriors? But the Warriors are already over, aren't they?
They're
10 mil.
They weren't already over, so...
So then 10 mil's got to come out, but who can... Neither of these teams can take on 10 mil, I don't think.
I think the Mavericks might be able to take on 10 mil.
But where are we getting 10 mil from? Kevon Looney?
No.
Looney and AirPod?
Yeah, the Chris Paul and the Klay Thompson contract are tough.
Well, the thing is, too, they have the Clay contract on the books, and he's going to be a free agent, so it's hard to work with the salary.
Yeah, because he's not... After the salary...
I think let's drop the Warriors out of this one, because I don't know what...
I do like the idea of Kyrie going to Miami, though.
I like Kyrie Miami. There's just got to be a third partner, a dance partner.
Mm-hmm.
I do think... So who's got to, like, make up... The Sixers, low-key. Like, let's put Philly in here and take a look.
Okay.
So they're not going to let us move Toby, bro. That's the thing because of
the contract. Yeah.
Um,
what about like Oklahoma City? They have so much money available right now.
Okay. So.
Whoa! Time out. Suns. KD to the Mavs.
KD to Dallas.
KD to Dallas. Kyrie to Miami. Who goes to?
I think low key, if we took the Heat out and we go Dallas. We go Dallas, Atlanta, and the Suns.
Okay.
Dallas, Atlanta, and the Suns, and see if we can swing something. So let's put the Suns in here, and then let's put the Hawks in here, because all these teams have someone that they like need to move.
Yeah.
So the people they need to move off of, Kyrie would be. Oh, I keep clicking on the player profile.
Okay.
Kyrie in this, I would assume, is going to Dallas, the Phoenix, right?
Phoenix, yeah.
To be back with KD and Book, but then they want to move Brad Beal.
Sure.
So then Beal is going to be going, or let's say Trey to Dallas.
Yep.
And let's say Beal to Atlanta. Now Atlanta's going to want more than just Bradley Beal, obviously. They want young talent. Let's throw Jaden Hardy in here because he's cheap and he's talented. Let's throw probably Nas Little to the Hawks as well. Does this work right here?
Bradley Beal, Nas Little, Jaden Hardy for Trey Young.
And then Dallas is basically flipping Kyrie for Trey, and the Suns are giving up Beal and Little to get Kyrie.
I like this a lot. I think Trey fits that.
The Hawks, it's only $4 million off.
Okay,
So the Hawks just have to give up a bad contract, like a Bogey or a. Can either team? I think they want to start Onyeka Okongwu. So can we get Clint Capella out of here
Capella to the Mavs?
to the Suns?
You think the Suns?
Because the Nurk soft. Capella's a board chaser.
Yeah,
he's
he
a
is.
glass cleaner, bro.
That's why.
But it might be too much money with Nurk. Is the only. No, that works.
Wow.
So it would be Trey to the Mavs. Kyrie, and that I think that looks really good for all three teams. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Because the Hawks can flip Beal too.
Yeah, they
can
definitely
flip
can. And like Trey Young just hasn't.
And I would assume there's picks here too.
Right.
The Mavs would be giving up picks.
Probably like a first rounder to the Hawks, and maybe the Hawks give up like a second rounder to the Suns or something like that. I think the Mavs just get Trey Young, but I think it changes their dynamic, and then they go and get somebody in the postseason that can get boards. Like, could you even adjust this and send Nurk to Dallas? I don't know if they can take him on, but let's see. If Nurk went to Dallas. No, he's too expensive. Okay.
Is there a young, controllable center that we could send back? Kobe Buffkin's a guard. AJ Griffin's a forward.
If you use both your fingers like that, that's good.
They're already sending Clint Capella out. The Suns, maybe you send. They only have Nurk.
I mean, Drew Eubanks, I guess, but he's not tradable.
I don't think so. I think that this is just what it looks like right here, and then picks, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I think you get Luka's getting. Maybe you want to supplement them a little more than Dallas, and you say like, let's send Kobe Buffkin, who they took in the first round, also to Dallas to give him a bench guard.
Okay.
And then maybe a David Roddy, too.
Because
then the Suns are only giving up role players and Bradley Beal. The Mavericks are giving up Kyrie and Jaden Hardy, but getting back a point guard to take Kyrie's place and guard depth in
and
Buffkin.
A forward. Yep. And the Hawks are getting a Bradley Beal that you can move, Nasir Little and Jaden Hardy, who are both really young, so therefore you can
And then you get picks from Dallas.
Yeah.
So Dallas gives up picks, Jaden Hardy, Kyrie Irving, and they get Trey Young, Kobe Buffkin, David Roddy.
And Kyrie,
how much are they over? 5, 6, $6 million?
So both Buffkin and Roddy can't go.
And then we sent Tim Hardaway's bad contract. He's a good player, but a bad contract to the Suns, and that should be $14 million. That's too much.
Yeah.
So you got to send Josh Green to the Suns?
Yeah, I guess.
Or even maybe a Maxi Kleba. No, they're $7 million.
Suns just have a lot of bad contracts too. I mean, just take out Green, I guess. Maybe take out
Roddy. Can we just did this work? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
they can get Buffkin too to sweeten the pot for Dallas. Dallas gives picks to Atlanta.
Okay.
I think that makes the Suns a lot better. I think it makes the Mavericks' future a lot better, and I think it makes it gives the Hawks a new look.
It does.
Even if it doesn't make them better, you would get probably 2 or 3 first-round picks. Beal, who you can flip for young players to a contender. Nas Little, who's young and controllable. Jaden Hardy, who's showed upside, and you get picks.
Yeah. And then
I think that's a good.
Yeah, and the Suns getting Kyrie and Clint Capella, you get that size down low. You get Kyrie Irving to actually be a ball handler. You know what I mean?
He's a point, and Devin can play the wing.
Yeah,
and then you get Capella, and then in this situation, I would have the Suns flipping Nurk in a separate trade. They would trade Nurk. They're not keeping Capella and Nurk.
Dude, getting Nurk for Jeremy Grant would be super sick. I feel like Jeremy Grant would fit in really well there. He's a great defender, fantastic down low, lengthy.
So then let's real quick try to Let's try to build a Nurk trade, trade that works financially. So we'll go Suns. Obviously, it's not going to be 1-to-1 because we just did that trade, and you can't
have the same players.
Yeah, we can't make the trade happen and then go from there.
Yeah.
Who could take on? I would assume it's a bad team that's taking Nurk's contract for depth. He's going to a Toronto or he's not going to a playoff team.
No. What if he went to Sacramento as a backup center?
I don't think Sacramento wants. Maybe so? I think you could see Nurk in
New York. No, not New York.
I think you could see Nurk in Toronto. I think you could see Nurk in
Brooklyn.
I think Brooklyn makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Brooklyn does make a lot of sense. They don't really have anybody down low.
I think they've got what's his name? They've got Clax, but other than Clax, like
yeah, they don't have a lot of.
So I think they try to get Nurk's contract out. I think they would want. I think Cam Thomas would be huge if they got Cam.
There's no way that the Suns.
No, but if it's Nurk and a first for Cam Thomas, bro, like
that would be insane.
Does that fit if it's just Nurk and a first for Cam Thomas? No, they don't have the money. 12 mil.
12 mil.
So it can't be Cam Thomas. It's gonna have to be a bad contract. Someone with also a bad contract that they can work around, like a DFS.
Or like a Ben Simmons.
I don't think they do.
Ben Simmons is 37 mil. Ben Simmons is such a bag chaser.
What if it's DFS? If it's just DFS for Nurk?
DFS for Nurk is not. That makes sense.
Because DFS is a stretch four and Nurk is a glass cleaner.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they need, especially if you already have who'd they just get, Capella.
Yeah, because then you have Capella, you've got DFS. So your starting five in the trade we made would be Kyrie, Book, KD, DFS, Capella. That starting five looks so much better than what they have right now.
That starting five makes sense.
And I think they'd throw in picks in this trade as well to sweeten, because DFS is younger and he's easier to work around. But the Nets just need picks, and they can afford to pay Nurk.
And then you keep Booker or Kyrie when the bench comes out.
Yeah.
So you can actually have like somebody to facilitate.
And then what's the starting five look like for Dallas in this Trae Young trade?
Trae Young.
It's Trae at the 1,
Luka at the 2.
I think maybe they'd go Luka at the 2, Hardaway at the 3.
Didn't we get rid of? No, we didn't get rid of.
No, his contract's got to stay.
Yeah.
Who did they get back other than they got Kobe Buffkin to come off the bench? That's it.
Yeah.
Which is a good developmental guard. They're 4. They have Maxey. Does Maxey start at the 4 for them? Kleba?
Yeah, I think he does.
And then they have PJ Washington still.
Oh yeah. PJ Washington at the 4.
And then at the 5.
That's where
they need a 5 that just cleans the glass.
Yeah.
Like they could even try to get Nurk in a separate trade.
This sounds crazy, bro, but I feel like a team like the Mavericks could really use like a Boogie Cousins or a Dwight Howard. Like someone who you know is going to work hard, but also just like a veteran that is a stopper. Like Brook Lopez is so great on the Bucks because he's just a veteran guy and you know what you're going to get out of him. And the Mavericks need a center like that. They just don't have it.
I'll drop one more, like just an idea here.
Yeah.
Because the Suns need inside. No, the Suns and the Mavs need inside presence. So I don't think they can do a deal necessarily together that works super well without the guards switching places. So if I'm trying to build, we're going to treat this as if I'm trying to rebuild the Mavs primarily. I think that the Hawks would be the first person I call because I want Clint Capella. Even if I don't get Trae Young, if they are committed to Trae Young, give me Clint Capella. I'll give you back Josh Green. You give me, where is he? Kobe Buffkin. And I'll give you Jaden Hardy.
Hold on. What about like Trae Young for Kyrie and then also
Kyrie, Trae. So it'd be Trae, Capella, and Buffkin for Kyrie, Green. What's that look like? They need to get rid of 15 mil.
Okay.
Hardaway. Tim Hardaway.
Wow, I like this trade.
I don't know if the Hawks would take it though.
With a couple picks.
I don't know if Kyrie fits the Hawks more than Trae Young really.
I don't. I guess so. I feel like
because Trae's younger and they're similar.
They are super similar. I just feel like Kyrie fits better with Murray because Trae Young dishes the ball out a lot, and Murray just isn't really that great of a shooter. But if you give Murray the ball and have Kyrie on the perimeter where you can dish it out to Kyrie hits his shots. For sure, which is what they should be doing with Trae, but they just don't.
Here's my last one before we fucking get ready for D&D.
Wrap it up.
So I'm thinking, instead, in the hypothetical, it feels like the Trae Young DeJounte Murray divorce is coming.
It is.
I think it's realistic to say the Hawks give up on DeJounte before them, and the Lakers should be picking the phone up. So if they say DeJounte's on the move, we go DeJounte to the Lakers. The Lakers give up Reeves, and we probably need to throw a third team in here. Who's a bad team that can take good contracts? Detroit can take contracts, and they just want talent. They also have young pieces that could be sweetened. I think Duran's probably on the move.
Probably just because
Wiseman
has shown.
They need a center if they're going to get rid of Clint Capella. So we send him to the Hawks. We send Capella to the Lakers. No, they won't fit. So the Pistons can take Capella's bad contract.
Yep.
Now, what did they get for giving up Jalen Duren? Somebody, Kobe Buffkin goes to Detroit. They have...
And maybe Vanderbilt goes
because they
to
have
Detroit?
3 good guards. That would give them a 4th one. And then we give them Vando as a good young big. So the Lakers are giving up Reeves and Vando. They're getting DeJounte. That makes the Lakers better.
It does. It makes the Lakers
The
a lot
Hawks
better.
are giving up Clint Capella's bad contract, developmental Buffkin, and DeJounte, and they're getting back Jalen Duren, a good young center, and Reeves. That makes them better.
It does.
The Pistons have a log jam in the paint. They don't even have to fucking play Clint Capella. They can flip him, they can cut him, they can sit him on the bench.
Yeah.
But they get Kobe Buffkin, who is another good young guard, to try to work together with Cade and Ausar and Jaden. They also get Vando, who's a great defender in the paint. This makes sense for everyone for me. Maybe the Pistons say, oh, we're giving up Jalen Duren, so you throw picks at him. How does this money-wise, 20 mil. Okay, so they've got to give up some money. Do they have a bad contract? They really don't. It's Evan Fournier who they're already taking on.
Yeah.
But Fournier's contract's going to clear.
Yeah.
So, like,
Capella is the
even if we
contract.
take the Pistons out, you know who else is a bad team that could take some good contracts? The Raptors, I feel like.
The Raptors probably, yeah.
The Raptors could take contracts on.
And then bringing
Because they need to build around the core of R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick. They could use a point guard, and that's where Kobe Buffkin comes in. The Raptors could use Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah.
They probably need they could take on Capella's contract because he kind of fits here with other than Pirtle.
Mm-hmm. And Pirtle's like...
Pirtle could play the 4.
Yeah.
He's a stretch. He can shoot.
He definitely can shoot.
So let's send Clint. Now, the Hawks are going to want more probably than just Reeves.
What about Boucher?
So what if we send Chris Boucher back to the Hawks?
I think Boucher.
Now the Lakers are giving up Reeves for DeJounte. I don't know if it's that simple, but let's try. The Lakers are 2 mil over, and the Raptors are 11 mil over. So the Raptors got to move 11 mil.
That Capella contract is just...
So let's send Kelly Olynyk to the Lakers, and then let's send Rui to Atlanta.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll make it work, but the Hawks getting better here? Yes.
Hachimura.
So
Reeves,
they would be Trae Young and
Boucher.
Reeves, and then DeAndre Hunter, Rui at the 4, and at the 5 they can move Okonkwo in there like they've wanted to.
Yeah, and then
their bench is then also
Bogdanovic.
Chris Boucher, Bogdanovic, Sadiq Bey, AJ Griffin.
Who are all
the Hawks are
solid players.
winning a trade here.
Yeah.
The Lakers get DeJounte Murray, the star they wanted. They give up Rui, but replace him with Kelly Olynyk's stretch shooting.
Yeah.
They get rid of Reeves, but replace him with DeJounte, who's a better player.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors take Clint's bad contract and get Buffkin, but they're giving up Chris Boucher and Kelly Olynyk, which really isn't that much.
Murray's contract is
Maybe
crazy.
you throw another good young player in here. Maybe, but you could do picks.
Wow.
That's a really good trade.
That is a good trade.
I think everyone wins there. I think there's picks involved in all of these hypothetical trades. This is my favorite of the ones we put together in the sense that, like, there's not superstars moving, but everyone gets a new look.
Yeah, and everyone's getting a little bit better, to be honest. Like, it's the Lakers are getting the Murray that they need. You know, like instead of having D'Lo, they actually have Murray.
I would imagine it's the Lakers here who give up picks to the Raptors. The Lakers give 2 picks to the Raptors.
I could see that. And then the Hawks getting Hachimura and Reeves is huge because it just like it adds depth. And then Boucher.
Bro, Hawks fans will look at it and be like, why would we do that? We're getting rid of DeJounte Murray. Bro, it's not working.
Yeah,
it's not working. Sometimes
you
you make a move that might keep you the same but give you a different look just to see if the fit works.
Yeah.
Because Reeves can shoot, Rui has potential down low, and Chris Boucher is a physical presence. You can come off the bench with Okonkwo playing the 5. So that makes sense for the Hawks.
Yeah.
You're getting out from underneath Capella's contract, and all you're really giving up is DeJounte and then Kobe Buffkin.
Mm-hmm.
And if you loved Kobe Buffkin that much, why was he not playing more minutes? If you loved him that much, I know they drafted him high. Why didn't you give him more minutes?
Yeah, give him some veterancy. All right, this has been dope. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you. Wrap it up.